Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So we basically get into talking about all the things going on social media. So whatever's popping off on celebrity news, gossip, any kind of hot topics, whatever's trending, we talk about on the show. So before we get started, can you please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so we got a lot of tea to get into today, sure. Um, we of course got some Diddy news. There's never a day without us doing a Diddy story. Because there was a story that broke earlier today, courtesy of Rolling Stone. They had the whole roll. I know all the other people are picking it up, but Rolling Stone, they always are pretty much on it when it comes to these exposés. But they came out this morning with this article stating that some woman was brutally R-word by Diddy and an employee. We have the whole breakdown. I'm gonna try my best to not be so graphic with the stuff. I'm gonna have to get real creative with the word Asian. So we'll talk about that. But that is, as you see in the thumbnail, that is one of our topics. But all the other stuff that we're going to talk about, we're going to get into some horror movie news because, October is literally, in 7 days? So we got the latest on the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel. We're going to talk Scream 7. We got to talk about this new trailer that came out from Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. They joined forces on this new horror film that's called Sinners. I saw the trailer. I have my thoughts. Plus, we need to talk about, like I said before, we got all this Diddy stuff coming out. I'll Be Sure is calling for investigation into Kim Porter's unaliving, and pretty much is saying that book that we were talking about on this show that we broke down, which I kind of was going back and forth on it. People were saying it was real. Some people were saying it was fake. I'll Be Sure saying it's fake. So now the overall consensus is the book is fake, which I'm like, I wasn't buying it because all the details was in the damn article. So what was the point of me reading it? We already know all the details. Plus, Usher's out here trying to have everybody think that we all dumb and talking about that we ran with this narrative that about the hackulation of his Twitter. Child, we know what it was. You up in here trying to gaslight us like we dumb. No, sir. We know you was at them parties, like a lot of them. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Method Man is trying to draw a line in the sand between, hip hop and Diddy's crimes. People out here trying to lump. I'm like, who? Unless you're an idiot or unless you're someone who doesn't know much about what's going on in hip hop, like who would be the dummy that would actually be trying to lump what Diddy's parties is with all of hip hop? The only one doing it is Bussy Madass, trying to say everybody's parties be like, I said, no, maybe yo behind be doing that mess. And maybe because you out here making your son and your nephew sleep with grown women because you don't want them to be gay, or as I like to say, homosexuals, then that's ridiculous to me. So I like the fact that Method Man's coming out saying it, but we're gonna break it out. Plus, there's talking about that some of them videos that we've been talking about on the show from the freak offs, which one of my friends called it a chemsex party. If you're part of the homosexual community, you know what a chemsex party is. So basically, we're gonna talk about that, and they talking about that the videos are being traded on the dark web for $500 million. But this is according to Jaguar, Wright. So we're gonna break that down. Plus, like I said, the whole Diddy story in regards to him violently R-wording a woman and filming the attack in 2001 following the trafficking arrest. Plus, we're gonna talk about Ryan Murphy and this whole Erik Menendez brothers drama. Like, you got people speaking out. You had the wife of Lyle speaking out. You had Erik Menendez speaking out. They all speaking out from jail. Then we have an attorney who basically said that the incest stuff that went on in the show is not true. And then we have Ryan Murphy on the red carpet clapping back, saying that basically that they did their research, they handled the story very carefully, and he's defending what he put in this 9-episode series. So we're gonna break that down. Plus, as I promised, that we got to talk about Chester Bennington's mom, who said she feels betrayed by this new Linkin Park rejuvication by adding Emily Armstrong as the new lead singer. So we're gonna talk about that. Plus, of course, Janet Jackson. We got to talk about Janet Jackson and her non-apology. And the fact that we have Whoopi Goldberg, of course, because it would not be a dull moment if Whoopi Goldberg wasn't out here windmilling hard for, her celebrity friends So we basically have Whoopi is defending her because they were on The View yesterday. Of course, because this major story is coming out, they're not going to talk about all the heavier topics. They just want to sit and talk about Donald Trump, and if it has to do with celebrity and big major celebrities saying something or whatever, then they want to jump into that. But anything a little too heavy, they're not going to talk about it. They need to give y'all the kids' table version of whatever it is. Well, I think I'm getting way ahead of myself. Let me save it for the show. I'm supposed to be giving y'all the rundown. And already I'm going in. So Whoopi Goldberg is defending. There were a bunch of women who had different opinions. I'm going to tell you who I lean more towards and what she said. We're going to talk about that. And plus, because, of course, none of the gay blogs are talking about it, of course, leave it up to Chris Avalon to talk about it. So Dakota Payne, remember when we talked about him, an adult film star who basically was implying a lot but didn't really go into full detail regarding he was SA'd by Shangela. Well, he took to his Instagram and spilled all the tea, and we have the story for the show. I want to thank my friend Luna, who sent that to me actually a couple of, last week. And I was about to get around to it. I was going to watch the video, everything, and then all of a sudden Instagram went and got rid of my damn page, so I had to start over. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's actually at Chris Avalon 1. So that's basically the name of the new Instagram. I had to create a whole new one. But they out here saying I'm violating community standards. I'm like, what? I'll just be posting a lot of pro-Palestine stuff and booty shots. Not mine, but other people's. I'm like, but wait a minute. So Instagram allows it, but when I share it, it's against community standards. I don't know what the community standard is because I wanted to see what it was and pull the file and see what it was, but it wasn't letting me do it. So it's like a lot of games that I realize Meta likes to play when it comes to stuff. Oh, and then last but certainly not least, we got to talk about that Dragula Season 6 trailer that dropped today. So it's a lot of stuff going on. And plus, if there's anything y'all want to add to the docket, y'all definitely can. I was like, there was one article that I forgot to bring up that was about Janet's, what is his name? Her rep, who basically said they was fired for speaking on her behalf. So, okay, I'm not even going to go in and let have and give my full opinion. I'm going to just wait. I was like, let's just wait till we get to this. Because it's like, I'm so anxious to speak on it now. But let me just move a couple of things around and then we'll get started. I was like, I'm running around my chicken like a chicken with his head cut off because I would also want to say I apologize for coming on late because I was supposed to be on at 3:00, but I came on like 10, almost damn near 10 minutes late, and that was because my dogs had to go to the bathroom. So when nature called, you got to take them to the bathroom, and so that's why I wasn't able to come in on time. So let me hit my banner. Lau recently did 48 hours, a phone interview. Yeah, today I was called you want to know something? And I'm definitely going to use you as a guinea pig. I don't want to call it that, but you know what I'm saying. Because of what we were talking about in regards to the whole Lila Erik thing. And I'm going to give my whole opinion on that and the whole incest and that sort of thing. And we'll talk about it. All right, so before we get to the heavy stuff, I do want to lighten it up a little bit. So bear with me. So let's get into some horror movie news. So it was reported yesterday that because we've been trying to find out what's going on with this I Know What You Did Last Summer requel. That's what's going on. Who's signed on? Is Jennifer Love Hewitt coming back? She's been kind of implying that she is coming back. She was over there talking with Entertainment Tonight at one point, and so she's like trying to say, "We'll see." I know she's already on 911. She's probably in the middle of filming the current season. I don't know how they're going to work out her schedule in regards to how much she's going to be in the show. If she does sign on the dotted line to be in the movie, how prominent is she going to be in the film? So I'm curious about that. And then on top of that, not only her, but Carla, Brandy. Sidebar, that new movie that she was just in, the A24 movie, it's already available on digital to watch. I mean, I understand why the movie flopped, but still, people said it wasn't a good movie. And I like Brandy. But the people said, and the critics was like, it's not a good film. But it already is available on digital if you want to watch it. I forgot the name of it. But I'm sure if you looked it up, Google Schmoogle, you'll find it. But anyway, so now it's been reported that Freddie Prinze Jr. has signed on to appear in the I Know What You Did Last Summer requel, which is reboot, sequel, that whole thing. Very much what they did with Halloween 2018. So, according to Deadline, it says Freddie Prinze Jr. has officially joined Sony's I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel film, reprising the role of Ray Bronson from the original 1997 movie and its 1998 follow-up, as I said, according to Deadline. They also revealed Prinze Jr. and his co-star Jennifer Love Hewitt were negotiating to return for the franchise continuation project when it was confirmed to be in development in early 2023. Hewitt is still very much in negotiations to reprise her role of Julie James. This is according to what they hear. So the previous announced cast includes Chase Sui Wonders, Madeline Klein, Sarah Pigeon, or Pridgeon. No, it is Pigeon, sorry. Tariq Withers, and Jonah Hoare King. Plot details for the latest installment are unknown. Now, Jennifer Caden Robinson is directing the film and was written by her as well, and also Sam Langsky from a draft by Leah McKendrick. So the movie is supposed to come out in July 18th of 2025. So that means that they maybe need to start filming soon, like possibly. Okay, so we're about to hit October next week. So I'm guessing November, December, like y'all need to start getting the film in. I don't necessarily know where they're going to film it. Maybe Atlanta, because Atlanta kind of gives that whole, you know, suburban type of vibe similar to the other two movies. I do believe the first film filmed in North Carolina. I cannot remember where exactly the sequel film. I know they did it on an island. I still know the last summer wasn't that great of a film, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially, um, Brandy's character, Carla Wilson. She was like my favorite. She was like, of course, the standard. And not because I'm a Brandy fan, but because the way they wrote her character, she was, she was giving it. She was not willing to have sex with Mekhi Phifer. That she was literally, edging him on that whole damn movie, which was a cackle. And then on top of that, it was like she was giving the one-liners. She was being like the sassy, I don't want to say stereotypical sassy black girl, but that's what it was given in the 90s. And then I love the fact that she did not die. So, and that's what I was worried about when I first was a kid watching that in the theater, and me being a Brandy fan, I said they better not kill her off. And the good thing is they didn't. So I love the fact that Ray's coming back, but I find it weird that Ray, who really wasn't that big of a prominent part of the franchise, like he had his little bits here and there, and we know that him and Julie had this on again, off again type of relationship throughout both films. But to me, I never felt like he was like the major standout thing. I would have expected that we would have heard that Jennifer Love Hewitt would have been the one that would have been already signed on. Her negotiations would have been, her deal would have been locked and she'd be ready to go. But I guess what they're doing is they're still doing that whole, they're still negotiating, and she's trying to figure out exactly, they're going to have to figure out her schedule because, she is on that show 911. And so they need to figure out what they're going to do with her. And then in regards to Brandy, I know like she was like, oh, I didn't know that they were making this movie. And then I guess maybe from what the studio and everybody's been seeing regarding people behind the film have been seeing like this overwhelming love for her character in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which the director said is canon. I believe she told that to Critical Overlord. She was, they're basically like, oh, now we need to find a way to insert her in the film. So I hope that she was, because I don't know, I feel like Brandy was not initially thought about being brought into this movie. I think that because of what's going on, they're thinking about bringing her in. There's no word on necessarily if she's going to be a part of it, but I really hope that my girl Brandy does have a part in the film. So I say all this to say I'm excited for Freddie Prinze Jr. being a part of this. I've always been a fan of his. I love his love with Sarah Michelle Gellar. That's another all-time favorite of mine. As a kid growing up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer and so many other things that she was in. I love me some Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I love Freddie Prinze Jr. And I hear he's a nice guy in real life. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with him. I hope they're just not just going to do fan service. They're actually going to utilize these legacy characters and not waste them like y'all did when Radio Silence did with Sydney and Dewey and Gail. Like, I really need y'all to figure out a way of balancing how to use the legacy characters and how to make them fit within what's going on with this new generation of cast. Like, is one of the cast members that is a part of this franchise the child of Julie and Ray? Did they get married, for all these years? Because you could fill in so many gaps in the 20 plus years that they haven't been on the screen together. You could say like, yeah, they got married, they had a kid, maybe they're divorced, raised off being living on a fishing boat or something, because that's kind of like what he was doing as a job when back in the 90s he was a fisherman. of sorts and working on the docks. And that's kind of what they did in that town. And Julie kind of went off and was kind of make her a little more badass, like very much a Laurie Strode type of character in Halloween, the 2018 version. If y'all can make her that, she's a little paranoid, she's gone into seclusion a little bit, or not necessarily, she's kind of just living her life, but maybe she's just trying to put that part of herself behind her. And with the internet and everything that's going on, things resurface, and then her past is coming back to haunt her. And then there's something happens to one of their kids or child or children. I don't know how many kids they plan on giving them, if they are, because I don't know what the script is. And this is just my overall ideas that I'm giving. And then have, and then that'll be a way to bring Ray and Julie together if they're not together as a couple, then have them kind of work in this whole thing. So make that kind of the dynamic. And then, excuse me, if y'all do bring Brandy back, make Carla like a reporter, or kind of like one of those what do you call those? Like those people that do those podcasts, the ones that talk about like the mystery murders and all that other stuff, like those type of like make her a podcaster in that sort of way. I was gonna say make her a reporter, but that'll make her too similar to like a Gail Weathers type. But I feel like in this day and age, you can make her like a popular podcaster, and because of what happened to her in that time, that she became famous off of that, and that's what she kind of does. She does like these independent, what is it, those investigation discovery type shows or something or another like that, or a podcast in that similar situation. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Y'all excited to see Freddie Prinze Jr. coming back to the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise? And the fact that, are you looking forward to hearing soon that we're going to get Jennifer Love Hewitt and Brandy being a part of the franchise? I feel like they need to be a part of it, but make sure if they're going to be a part of it that their stories fit within the narrative, and y'all just not trying to do fan service. Because the one thing I hate as a person who grew up watching a certain franchise and you see your faves appearing in things is that y'all just shoehorn them in, and like a bona fide cameo, and then it just makes no sense as to why they're a part of the franchise. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. Felix says Brandy says she'd be up to being in it. Yeah, hopefully. I've heard there's one of the few Hollywood marriages that lasted. Yeah, I know, I love it. Yeah, something did happen to my Instagram page, but oh yeah, I was saying that earlier. Yeah, they Instagram got rid of my old page, so I had to create a new one. So it's basically Chris Avalon 1. Because Chris Avalon, what was it? Official underscore? I don't even remember the name of that old page. And I was pissed because I had so much stuff on there. I had like photos, I had my reels, I had all that stuff on there. But I'm like, whatever. As long as my reels is elsewhere, like I got all my old reels on my Facebook, I got all my old reels on TikTok. So and then I got my YouTube channel where I've cut up the clips and they're all on there as well. So there's other avenues of where I put my stuff. I wasn't that upset, but I am kind of upset because it's like now I got to sit and find the people that I was friends with before, remember everybody, and re-add everybody. So yeah, to answer your question, Black Love, I had to create a whole new Instagram. I watch a lot of shows on Investigation Discovery. One of their best shows, American Monster, also Evil Lives Here. That's what I said. If they kind of play into that and make her a part of that, I feel like that'd be a great way to shoehorn Carla in, because the old murders happens. This is a way for her to investigate. She comes to town, and then her and Julie and Ray all run into each other, and then they all trying to solve this mystery. Like I feel like if y'all kind of do that, but then also interlink with the kids, because we need people to die too. Not them three, but let some of the younger cast members. We need some of them to get cut up. Some Carnage candy. That's what we want. So, yeah, and that's what I was wondering. If I was thinking, I was like, did I get hacked? Because that's what I think may have happened. That something crazy must happen. Because I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even post anything bad in there. But here's the thing: I got an airtight password, so I ain't playing this time. Excuse me, I am still under the weather. But we're gonna power through this show. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic, since we're speaking about negotiations and things. And I Know What You Did Last Summer. Let's talk about another franchise, both from Kevin Williamson, that plays into my childhood, and that is Scream. So Courteney Cox recently did an interview with Variety, I believe. And, she's one of the only actresses who's literally been in every Scream film since the first one. Like, she's been in all six. The only ones who haven't been in all of them, I would say, like, when we're talking about, yeah, she is literally one of the, I don't even have to explain about Dewey. Y'all already know what happened to him in Scream 5. You already know what happened with Nev Campbell in Scream 6. So, yeah, Courteney Cox is literally the only cast member who has literally been in every Scream movie. And so now she was asked basically about if she's going to be in the new Scream 7. So she recently did an interview with Variety where she was asked if she was going to be, hold on, let me pull this picture up because this is like, and I have to say from Scream 6, y'all already know, well, maybe y'all don't know, but I'll tell you, this is like this scene here, when that chase scene with Ghostface, and it turned out to be the she, was stabbing her up. I have to say, that was like one of my favorite chase sequences since, with Courteney Cox since Scream 2, when she was in the, what was it, in the college, and they were chasing her, and then Dewey's on the other side of the glass, and he's getting stabbed up, and then, the Ghostface was trying to get her. I think it was Mickey that was trying to get her at the time. I'm trying to think, was it Mickey or was it Mrs. Loomis? So, she basically opened up. I'm gonna give you a little bit, and then I'm gonna just talk about her clarification. So basically, they was asking her about her ex-husband in real life, David Arquette. Remember, he plays Dewey in the show. And then they were asked her about, the issue about them killing him off, and that there is a possibility he would appear in Scream 7. And she said, I understand the reasons they did it, but whoa, talk about a missed character. This is what she said at the Rock for EB charity event on Saturday. She said, Dewey is so loved by Scream fans, they have to figure it out. And I do agree. I was so mad when they killed him off, and I was like, what was the point of y'all doing that? And then people didn't believe that little ass girl in the original, in the film, could possibly kill him off, like take him out in that way. Dewey been stabbed up so many damn times that was kind of like the running joke in the film. And I then like that they made him a little badass in Scream 5. So I did love that part. And so, so basically what they were saying also is that there is no, like, she hasn't signed on yet, because a lot of rumors were going around that she had signed on to be in Scream 7. She says, I'm not officially signed on. I'm not, but there will be a Scream 7. And she said that she's also excited that the film will mark Kevin Williamson's first time directing a Scream movie. Because, he wrote the original film in 1996, back when it was called Scary Movie, and then they had changed the name to Scream. And now y'all already know what happened with the name Scary Movie. It wound up being that Wayans Brothers film, which was actually good. The first two is good, the rest is trash. And I already heard they're trying to bring Scary Movie back. But unless the Wayans Brothers is attached, I don't want to be a part of it. Or I won't watch. Because how y'all going to make Scary Movie work in this day and age? And I feel like if y'all are going to do parodies of the slasher film genre, like Terrifier and all this other rejugification and the Babadook and Hereditary and all these other things and The Witch, if y'all gonna go and make fun of the whole A24 Blumhouse style of horror movies, and then you're gonna do the requel stuff, if y'all gonna go into that, y'all really need to get some funny freaking writers who are gonna go balls to the wall and not be all like, oh, we can't say these things because people are gonna get offended. The thing with comedy is comedians are soothsayers. They're supposed to be the ones that say the thing that everybody else is afraid to say. But you're thinking it, and so people want to laugh. Oh, damn, I just saw this article about Supergirl found a villain, but I'm not even going to look at that. Let's focus on Courteney. So she also said you can't get better than that choice. So I am excited the fact that I will say this, that I am excited that we are getting Kevin Williamson to be a part of it, because Kevin Williamson created these characters. He created Sydney. He created all these other people. He knows the characters inside and out. He knows this franchise. However, it did kind of get away from him with the studio interference and all this other stuff. And I love the idea that we're getting him back. Now, I'm curious as to where they're pretty much going to go with this, because we had gotten used to the core four. I like the core four. I like learning a lot about the Carpenter sisters. I enjoyed them on the screen, but because this whole thing of people who apparently can't give their opinions about Palestine without being considered, anti-Jewish, which is not true. You can also say that I'm against what they're doing to these people. I'm also against Hamas, but we need to do better as a society. in regards of like this whole political thing. And what is this really about? Is it about colonization? Is it about oil? Is it about eradicating an entire, race of people? Like, why are we trying to kill these people over here and y'all trying to act like y'all are more superior to the other situation? I'm going to get into that later on because there's another article that's similar to this. And I feel like it's to do with, that's kind of like what people were saying with Chapel Roan, which I meant to bring this article up, but I'll probably say that for tomorrow so I can get more in depth with it, is that with Chapel Roan and that whole situation with her talking about that, how she says she ain't voting for Kamala. She refuses to be a monkey, dancing for a bunch of Democrats in regards of, why she didn't perform at the White House. And she says she ain't voting for Trump either. And so you got people out here saying, oh, how can you be a lesbian and say this? Like your sexuality is more important than those people in Palestine that are being killed every day. And then when people try to use the argument, I don't want to get too much in the whole political thing, but it just kind of falls into this whole thing of Melissa Barrera and what she's been dealing with. So you can't have empathy for other people. And then people try to say, oh, well, why are you defending those people? Those people would kill you. Those people want you dead because they don't like gay people. I raise you an argument. You don't think there's queer Palestinians? You don't think that they're dealing with a lot of this stuff too? That when you're born, you are born gay, sorry, or you're gay or you're trans, identifying and Palestinian. So should they die too? Should I not have empathy for those people? Those are the people I'm concerned about. I'm concerned for my queer brothers and sisters. But I'm also concerned about the fact that there's innocent children that just want to go to school and they want to live their life and they just don't want to, they're not bothering nobody, but they're being killed. For what? For being who they are? Not everybody believes in the whole terrorism. That's like saying with us Americans that we stand with those people at January 6th because it happened on our soil. I don't agree with that because I'm totally against anybody who does things for their own selfish interests and put harm to others. I don't want to see people get hurt. So I just didn't like how Spyglass handled this situation with Melissa Barrera. So I'm still upset about that. However, she wasn't a part of my Scream situation. So I am, I'm of the era of, when I was a kid, I saw Scream and it was Courtney Cox, Nev Campbell, and all of them. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this. And I hope to see her come back to the franchise. So with all of that being said, to get back to this part, she said the following. She is clarifying whether she's officially returning to the series and shared her, excitement for the upcoming installment. So they were telling her that she was in talks to return. She said she's not officially signed on, but that basically is going to be a lot of fun, that sort of thing. So I really hope that Courtney does come back. I love Courtney Cox as part of the franchise. I think she is a great iteration. We're going to see where, how is she dealing with Dewey's death? Because I don't feel like they really explored that. Yeah, even in Scream 6, I don't feel like they explored. We saw her for 5 seconds with her little new black man boyfriend who gets killed in the apartment that you see right here. So she on that phone, and when she turned to look, she seen that her man was getting stabbed and it was thrown through the glass. Well, actually, she didn't see him get killed. She was on the phone while it was happening. And then they threw him through the glass, and then they do the whole chase scene around her loft. That loft is fabulous, though, out in New York. And that sort of thing. So I'm actually excited, as I said before. I'm looking forward to seeing this new Scream. I'm curious to see what they're going to do in regards to the script. I am a little, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I mean, screw Spyglass. I'm going to still see the film regardless because I'm so invested in this franchise. But I am curious in regards of where they're going to take this franchise, especially like with Sydney and her, Patrick Dempsey, the cop that she married, that she met in Scream 3, they have children together. We're going to see how that plays out. They're talking about aging the kids, which I think is smart because we saw them as infants in part 5. It's not real life people. So people, well, it's not true. How was it this movie came out 5 years ago and she's got teenagers? It was like, really? This is what you're focusing on? It's a goddamn movie. So at Sydney's age, she would look like the type that would have teenagers at this point, not infants. I mean, it was cute or whatever back in part 5, but now that we're in part 7, it feels like we could pretend that enough time has passed that y'all could age up the kids a little bit. They do it all the time on soaps. Have y'all never seen a soap opera? That, the baby start out as an infant, and then 6 months later, for sweeps, the summer sweeps, all of a sudden, that little infant is now a teenager. It's happened many a times. So if they could do it in soap world, they could do it in TV show world, they could do that all the time. We've actually suspended our disbelief to know what they were doing. Then why is it hard for people to suspend the disbelief in a movie? So I'll be curious enough to see where they go with that, what this new story is going to be about, and I'm excited to see where they're going to go with this upcoming Scream film. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this film? Do y'all think Courteney Cox is going to be signing on to be reprising her role as Gail Weathers? I'm sure she's coming back. And how they're going to utilize her character, and also with the whole Dewey thing, because they're saying like there's a possibility they could bring Dewey back, and I feel like you can find ways to bring Dewey back. You could do like voiceover stuff, like what's his name? Like Ghostface always does this whole fake voice, like take people's voices and use them. You could use him for that. You could do a flashback sequence. And also, I forgot to bring this up. I'm excited for what they're going to do with this whole Kirby Reed series that we're supposed to be getting. And I feel like, remember this show? You know what it reminds me of? If they really can go into this whole serial killer cult thing. Remember this series that used to come on Fox called The Following? I actually think Kevin Williamson was a producer on that. Excuse me. If they could find a way to bring that kind of essence of like this whole cult of serial killer situation, and as a survivor of Ghostface, she becomes like this agent. Well, she is an agent, an FBI agent who solves these crimes, and you kind of go into this Scream meets Silence of the Lambs with a little bit of Long Legs. If y'all kind of go into that whole vibe, I feel like that it would be a cool series, and I would definitely love to check that out. I'd just be curious as to what streaming service they will be putting it on. So, all of that being said, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Excuse me. I was so afraid to take a deep breath because I felt like I was about to cough my damn lungs out of my damn mouth. Lord, I'm dying on camera. um, Did you hear about a conservative education reform advocate who was anti-LGBT was exposed? I did, and I posted that on my page, and the people were saying, I was saying, does his wife know? And that's why I said it's funny. Wow, these hypocrites. And who was the one that came out and said that big back heifer that talking about he a black Nazi? They was talking about that he was like he was a peeping Tom, looking at new women in the showers and all kinds of. It's a bunch of damn perverts running around, but we the perverts. They the main ones. All they tea is coming out. So I always say y'all gotta watch out what y'all be putting out here because the sleuths will be sleuthing, and when y'all tea get out there and y'all are exposed, you ain't gonna like it. So it said people really telling themselves when they fail to consider queer Palestinians, also very patronizing to tell you what your opinion should be. Yeah, because I was literally going in. Well, I wasn't going in because I don't argue with the internet. I don't argue online with that. There was a story that I had shared on Instagram of this girl who was just like going off. This boy was literally trying to answer all her stupid little hot-headed questions in regards of politics, and when he would go and answer the question, she would cut him off. So he's like, are you gonna let me answer? I'd be like, bitch, if you don't shut the fuck up, like that's me. I'd be ready to cuss a bitch out. Actually smack their damn microphone. But then again, I realize when you do that, that's when you give away your power. That's what they like. And then the crazy thing is they love to play the victim in regards to that. So you got to be careful you got to always hold your composure. So one thing I hate is that because sometimes I be wanting to go in, but you can't give them the satisfaction. So, and I always say that it's like, yeah, y'all don't like you think every person in the world is heterosexual. Like there's gay Palestinians, just like there's gay Jews and Israelites. So, or Israelis. So I don't understand that. Listen, I had an altercation like this with a white lip child. A mess. All right, so now, last but certainly not least, let's get into this story. So I don't know if y'all seen the new trailer for Sinners. I have been waiting a long time for this because I've been hearing so much about this secret Ryan Coogler project that he's been working on. And, the rumor was that it's literally about vampires. Like he's doing a vampire movie. And after watching this trailer, when I tell you I cannot wait to see this movie, March can't get here fast enough. I don't know how y'all putting a vampire movie out in March. That's a little weird for me. I feel like this should have been, I don't even want to do February because, first of all, that's a cliche. Why every black movie got to come out in February, right? This is not, when Black History Month, whatever. Because they did that shit with Get Out. And that's what Erik, I was like, okay, so now I see what y'all doing, but it worked. And then y'all put Black Panther out in February for Black History Month, and it worked. The first one, not the second one. The second one was all right. But I love the fact that Ryan Coogler took a step back after doing these big tentpole movies and jumped into something a little more independent. So Ryan Coogler's mysterious horror movie Sinners is on the way early next year for Warner Brothers, and the studio has unleashed the official trailer. Now, this is actually, and I'm shocked because I totally forgot about this, Ryan and Michael B. Jordan, I like to say Bakari Jordan, because Bakari is actually what the B stands for. Fifth collaboration. This is their fifth movie together, which is crazy. I guess maybe what they're saying is, what is it, Fruitville Station. He appears twice in Black Panther. That's 3. Then there's this movie. What's the 4th one? Or the 5th one? Was it Creed? I know he produced that. Did he direct that also? I'm wondering. I have to check into that. So it might be Creed. But I know that they must have moved. I think he did direct one of the Creeds. But I know Michael B. Jordan directed Creed 3. Who directed Creed 2? Was it, didn't Sylvester Stallone direct one of the Creeds? I feel like he did too. I have to look that up. So it says the highly anticipated horror thriller is based on an original script by Coogler, with the project set in the 1930s, Jim Crow era South, and filmed earlier this year in the New Orleans area. But beyond the basic details, everything about the project, from the title to its plot, has been kept under wraps. Then on Monday, the supernatural thriller was announced to be titled Sinners. Later, Jordan shared the film's poster, aka a close-up shot of the actor in 2 different costumes, confirming rumors that he's playing a dual role, which is true. He is playing twins. And then the caption basically says, "Dance with the devil and he'll follow you home." The film's official description sets the scene, saying trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers, played by Jordan, return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Now, as far as who's starring in the film, we have Delroy Lindo, who is supposed to be starring in the Blade movie that we still been waiting 100 damn years for them to start filming. But I don't even know if he's a part of it anymore. So Delroy Lindo, who I love me some Delroy Lindo. He don't get enough roles, but I like him as an actor. Especially when he played Aaliyah's father in Romeo Must Die. I liked him in that movie. Even though that movie was cheesy, I liked him in it. Also, Jack O'Connell, who I haven't been seeing him a lot lately, but I'm noticing that he's starting to do a lot of films. So it's good to see Jack O'Connell back acting. And Haley Steinfeld is in the film, as well as Wunmi Mosaku from Loki, Jamie Lawson from The Woman King, Omar Benson Miller for The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray, Lee Jun Lee from Babylon, Lola Kirk from Gone Girl, plus newcomers Yao Mais Canton and Peter Dreymanis. So, and this is the first he's directed since Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, I am curious about this. What's going on with Black Panther 3? I want to know, like, where they planning on going with this. This film has been under wraps, but from what I've been hearing, it's a vampire movie. And based on the film, I was like, oh my God, I need to see this film. First of all, I love you don't really get a lot of plot details, but I love the overall mood and atmosphere that you get. It's very much giving that. And I love the fact that they filmed this on a Panavision System 65 camera. It's also, they let you know that it was shot for IMAX. So I definitely am going to see this on an IMAX screen when it comes out next year. And I also, I love when MBJ and Ryan work together because they're kind of like the Leo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese of the Black community. That's what I like about these two, is that whenever Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler get together, you already know it's going to be good, because Ryan Coogler is that dude when it comes to like giving me what I need in regards of a new idea. Plus, it's sort of like it's unapologetically Black to its core, and that's what I love about these type of movies. And I don't think, I know we don't get often enough horror films that are rooted in Black people, Black storytelling. There's just added a little extraness to it in regards, especially when it comes to religion or supernatural entities and things of that nature. So to add a little blackness to it, add a little seasoning, it's gonna be good because it'll give us something different. And while we still waiting on Blade, at least we getting ourselves a good Black horror film with vampires in it and see what he's gonna bring to that whole gothic horror vibe. It reminded me of, in the vibe and the tone, it kind of gave me like Eve's Bayou. Eve's Bayou is another one that I look at as like that southern gothic horror vibe. And I always like stuff like that. Like New Orleans, it's rich with that whole, supernatural aura in the air. It just gives that, and I've always liked that about New Orleans, especially like with the bayou and the witches and that whole situation and vampirism. Especially when we get from Interview with a Vampire, it's kind of got that kind of vibe in the tone and the overall energy of the film. So I'm always about moods and tones and things, and that was definitely what was hooking me. Now I hope that when as the movie gets closer to its release date, now, it doesn't become a victim of revealing too much in the trailer. I want to go in relatively surprised. It's kind of like this movie that I've been hearing so much about with Kyle Garner, who has become another one that's under the radar as like one of my favorite actors. Kill Your Darlings. I want to see this movie. I've been hearing so much about it. People's like, don't look it up. Don't find out what the movie's about. Just go in blind and watch it. This is kind of like what I want to do with this movie. I want to go in completely blind. I don't want to know what's going on because I want to be able to just bask in the moment and feel every aspect of this film when I go see it. I don't want to know too much. So, oh yeah, so before we go, I was like, yeah, here's Ryan Coogler looking through the camera lens. And I just love seeing people of my generation that we just out here just telling our stories. We're making really good movies. And it just goes to show that he's just, Ryan Coogler is definitely one of those guys that people really need to be paying attention to what he's doing out in these streets. And I'm just so proud to see how far he's come as a filmmaker. And I look to see, looking forward to seeing what more stuff he's got down the pipeline, including letting us know what's going on with Black Panther 3. And on top of that, sidebar, because Michael B. Jordan has another vampire movie he's supposed to be working on. What's going on with I Am Legend 2? So I definitely am curious to find out about that as well. Like, what's going on with I Am Legend 2? Is there a script ready? Is Will Smith ready to go? Like, can y'all not make them vampires look like dated CGI? Can we actually get some of them like very similar to the creatures in 30 Days a Night, or even The Last of Us, where it's like you could stick like 10 movement actors in the makeup and everything, and with the help of CGI you could expand on them and make it look like there's a lot more than what there is, and then work it out in the film. I want practical effects. I'm tired of these CGI lazy fake digital stuff because it looks fake and we can tell. So I say all this to say, have y'all seen the trailer for Sinners? Are you actually looking forward to seeing this film? If you haven't, definitely go on YouTube, preferably after this show is done, and give it a gander. And then let me know what you guys think of the trailer in the comments down below. Okay, so oh, Felix said they moved Haunted Man. That's what? That's stupid. Why would you put Haunted Mansion in July? Haunted Mansion should be coming out in October or close to it. They said commiseration, it nearly always is people with comparative privilege who try to dictate like this. Dealing with it at work must be especially frustrating. I usually try to keep my political views to myself when I'm at work. I save it for the show. But there was one show that I had worked. Child, it was real hard for me to keep my mouth closed, especially with the Israeli audience and the fact that how they were just like chanting "Bring them home" and having the soldiers and all the other stuff that they were, we've heard stories about the things that the nasty, crazy things they've been doing to the Palestinians, how they sit up here and just clapping and just believing all this propaganda. And I'm sitting there like, chill, Chris, shut up, because you about to lose your job. Don't say a word. And I keep my opinions to myself, but I just like, we need to have empathy for everybody and not just think like my plight is better than yours. Like this whole, what they call it, trauma Olympics, as I like to call it. Oh, because those, they're not worth stuff because they want to see me dead. Who's they? Did they come up to you personally and say they wanted you dead? So that justifies other people getting killed because of your ignorant belief or whatever? You said while others will be streaming Harley Quinn. Chill. I didn't even know that stuff was coming until you told me that Lady Gaga is coming out with a Harley Quinn soundtrack that's similar to what Madonna did in regards of I'm Breathless. And as y'all know, I'm Breathless is basically from Dick Tracy, where she was going into the whole, where she went and explored like jazz and all that other stuff. So now Gaga's doing the same thing. And she's being called out for being, yet again, a Madonna copycat. And she wonders why she gets that. She gets read down to the floor in regards of, you know, that situation. I had to dump some ice in my cup. Excuse me. I know I'm just being extra ghetto today. But and I'm saying like sis, and you wonder why people always compare you to Madonna because you busy, you pretty much out here copying her handbook. And I guess it's hard because Madonna's pretty much done everything in the music business, so it's hard for people to like come up behind her and just do what their own thing. So purposely killed her at A-list status after losing 2 boyfriends and 5 girlfriends. She's bisexual. She lost 8 friends because she was constantly busy in 2014. She said, yes, going platinum is nice. Wait, who are we talking about? Lady Gaga? And being known worldwide is great, but it's not worth losing people that you knew from almost 30 years, including family. My life is better being a gay man's pop icon secret because they're the same way. Right, I saw the Hollywood cover. Instantly, I thought she was trying to do a Breathless type album. Well, I haven't seen any of that. I may have to go look at this after the show. I saw Gaga's that. Child, we saw that foolishness too, and that's why I'm cackling because the Democrats got Taylor Swift. And they got Lady Gaga's father. And the only reason why they gave him a platform is because who his daughter is. They don't give a damn about you. It's the fact of the matter is you're attached to. So we're doing celebrity adjacents and we're not getting actual celebrities because all y'all can get is Kid Rock and Chachi. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Chachi because of Violet Chachki, who's about to be on the new season as a guest judge of Dragula. We have that later on that we're going to talk about in the show. Rather be their hedonistic self, even if it means saying a relationship with the parents is dead because they can't accept you for who they are. Are you talking about Tove Lo? Oh. Now I believe it because I was about to say, wait a minute, Gaga actually had girlfriends. I always still felt like she kind of was jumping on that bandwagon, like Nicki Minaj and a lot of these fake lesbian wannabes or bisexuals. I don't want to do any bi erasure because there are people out here who are bisexual, but there'd be some out here too that just say bisexual for attention or say bisexual because they don't want to come out as gay. We need to address all those situations. Everybody ain't lumped into one situation. Is she? She's beautiful in her way because God makes no mistakes, as she likes to say. I was actually listening to Tove Lo yesterday, and that's because My Oh My came on when I was listening to it. You want to know something? And we'll get to the show. My Oh My, I hate you, Kylie. And I'm going to tell you why. I still have love for you, but I hate you at the same time. That song has grown on me. I can't stand that damn song, but it has grown on me. It's literally attached under my skin like a fungus. And I realized when I was listening to it yesterday, because when a lot of times when I listen to dance music, I listen to a record and then it shuffles into songs that are similar to what you're listening to. And when I was listening to it, I'm like, first of all, the bass, everything sounded perfect, and I was like, oh my god! Now I'm sitting here I'm singing along with the song, and I'm sitting there like, okay, this song does slap. I'm gonna give it to them. Look, y'all ain't gonna get me with Katy Perry. I refuse. I rebuke thee, Satan. When it comes to 143, you're not gonna get me like you got me with My Oh My. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. And I was like, oh, this sounds good in my ears. And then the song was like, okay, so now I see it. I guess maybe I wasn't seeing it at first. I'm like, this is terrible. But now it's like, it's one of those earworms. Nikki said, used to be bi, now yeah, okay, girl, you never was bi. Stop the lies. Unless unless your husband wanted you to be up in here, doing a licky with other women for his entertainment. But I can't. She give me one of those. She give me, oh yeah, I'll let a girl lick it just to please my man and keep him satisfied. Like one of those type of bisexuals that you only like to play around in the bedroom, a little Hennessy, take a couple of shots of Hennessy, and take a pull on the weed, mix with whatever y'all got mixed up in that weed, and then go about your business. But yeah, that's the only reason why I was listening to Tomelo, because that song popped in my ear, My Oh My, and that was from the actual Tension 2 album, because that's officially, added on the Apple Music thing versus the old single. But anyway, let's move on. Oh, and by the way, I should tell y'all, the Sweat Tour was good last night. I will say this, and then we'll move on with the show. Out of the performances that I saw, because in the beginning is Shy Girl, and then you have Charlie. Well, Troy comes out first, does a couple of songs, then Charlie comes out, with the whole brat thing and the drops, and then she does her thing and it brings out Shy Girl for a song, one of the remixes on the new album, the new remix album. I will say this. Out of the performances that I like the most, no shade, I love you, Charlie, but Troy got you beat in regards to the production department. He was up there giving choreography. One of your girls was my favorite part of the show, with them up there giving kind of like the Alejandro choreography. Because that's what it was giving. Very, very gay, very demure, very sassy. Like, it was giving all of that. And then Troy up there making out with all his dancers. I'm like, child, maybe I need to start being a pop singer so I can start making out with my dancers. But you know what? He pretty much got all that from Madonna, because Madonna been doing that for God knows how long. But Charlie was just all over the place. She was erratic. I guess that maybe was the vibe that she was going for in regards to the whole rave thing. But honestly, if Troy continues to dabble more into the dance pop type thing and removes himself a little bit from that laid back, chill type music, which I realized they were remixing a lot of his stuff. If he keeps it up, I could definitely see him doing arenas on his own and bringing other acts out. Like, I would love to see him and Lil Nas X on a tour together. Charlie is not made for an arena. She needs to go back to smaller venues, like an amphitheater or something or another. I just felt like just her being up there by herself was way too. She was like this little ant in this giant situation. Troy worked the whole stage, but Charlie kept getting swallowed up. And then she didn't really have a lot of props or anything going on. She had no backup dancers. It was just her up there, hands up, and then just thrashing around the stage. I was kind of disappointed with her side of the show. Now, I live for the music. It very much felt like a DJ set, but it's kind of like how I feel when I watch DJs do arenas. In so many ways, it doesn't work. Now, Two Brothers, I will say that they put on the best show. Them and there was another DJ that put on a good show. That his whole show was actually on YouTube. But Two Brothers, when they put it on, they had people coming out. They had dancers. They had drummers. They had all kinds of stuff going, trickeries and pyro and all this other stuff going on that kept everybody entertained. Whereas, yeah, Charlie, I love you, girl, but no, amphitheaters. Lord was good. It's funny how when it comes to New York, I feel like when it comes to New York, we always that tends to be the one place where they bring everybody out, because it was the same thing with what the hell is that? The Queens of R&B. When the Queens of R&B, when they had SWV and Escape, I actually felt like there was a flow with their trading, moments on stage. SWV come out and do a set, they go backstage, and then as they're disappearing from the stage and the dancers are taking the chairs and everything off, then you have Escape, come out from another section. Like there's the bot, then they'll come out from at the top, or when they disappear from the stage, the other comes out. So they always find ways to come out and make it flow. There wasn't a flow in regards of you know Lord. I mean, not Lord. So now I'm calling Charlie XCX Lord, which is everybody be doing. So when it comes to Troy and Miss Girl Charlie, the back and forth, it just felt disjointed at parts. There was a part later on in the show, I'm like, okay, now the flow is starting to work. But in the beginning, it's a little rocky. So maybe they should have figured it out, but I don't think they took enough time to rehearse, because, Charlie was busy doing her own separate tour. Troy was basically doing his own separate tour, and I don't think they had enough time to figure out how to bring both together to work out the kinks. It just kind of like, okay, let's just combine what we're doing and go on tour together. And then I did notice also there was a lot of stuff from from Troy's tour overseas that he brought to America. I was like, I knew he was going to do that. We just ain't see it. They felt like, oh, because he didn't give it to us here, now he gonna give us that show he gave them over there, over here. But seeing, child, I'm supposed to be keeping my composure, and I'm up in here acting like these damn fans, screaming, "Yes, bitch," and all that other stuff. Wait, who's innocent? I know you into my Diddy chair, cause ain't shit innocent about him. But anyway, so yeah, that was my overall assessment of the situation. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about Al B. Sure. And then we'll get into the whole thing with, Diddy and his crazy freak offs. But I want to give you all the stuff that was coming out yesterday. There's so much Diddy news. Like, I'm really going to have to start choosing my battles in regards of covering this story. Because there be so much stuff that's coming out in real time. I will have to admit that I'm becoming a bit overwhelmed with how much of the Diddy stories that are coming out with stuff, but I just want to give y'all the updates on certain things. We could just gloss through it. So, Al B. Sure basically weighed in on the unauthorized memoir, Kim's Lost Words, which allegedly contained Kim Porter's diary entries. So there was a story that came out the other day that there was it wasn't even just the other day. It was actually, I believe, a couple of weeks ago. This story came out that Kim Porter apparently somebody had found her diary. They sent it, after she passed or whatever case, with all this stuff with Diddy started coming out, then they published her diary entries, and then now it's a book that I guess you could buy on Amazon. And then there were rumors that were going back and forth on some people saying the book is a lie, it's all made up, that sort of thing. We talked about it on the show. We entertained the shenanigans, and I left it up to y'all to believe what y'all want to believe. And if you didn't believe it, then that's fine. And then I seen there was people that love getting on my social media just to go against everything I damn say. Now I feel like you're not even a fan, you're a hater. And I live for a difference of opinion when it comes to things. However, when you deliberately only pipe up on my timeline just to go against the shit I'm saying, then I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. Don't play in my face. Because whenever I say other things, and then when I call you out on it, oh no, I didn't mean like, no, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. I don't like that gaslighting stuff. One of the things I said about when it comes to Virgos, we are very observant when y'all try us. Like, don't play us like we dumb. We don't like that. It's like, if you're going to just deliberately come out and come back and go against, just be a man and say that. Or woman. And it's fine. But I always come with a receipt. So Al B. Sure, R&B singer and ex of late model Kim Porter, is basically calling for an investigation into her untimely passing amid Sean Diddy Combs, also Porter's ex, arrest following months of accusations of abuse and assault. Excuse me. The night and day singer, who's 56, took the IG on Monday morning, September 23rd, with three lengthy posts. Yeah, it's a lot. So if y'all want to see them posts, y'all could basically go to my website, chrisavalon.com, and check it out, because it was a lot. And I was like, I don't know if and I saw it on the Neighborhood Talk as well. And I was like, I don't know if I want to basically go at length and with all the information. But if you want, you can basically go to his Instagram, or you can go to my website. I have all the links there, and you can check it out. So it says, copies of Kim Porter's tell-all found on Amazon are full of inaccuracies, including claims that he partook in sexual depravity himself. Now, we didn't know about the Al B. Sure stuff because, like I said, I didn't read the book. The book was basically, from all the articles I was reading, was focusing on a lot of what was happening at the Diddy parties and the alleged celebrities that was caught up in the Matrix. But when you out here lying on Al B. Sure, he has a right to come out and say his piece and be like, I don't know where you get this information from, but I was never at a Diddy party. But we also know about the stories of how Al believes that Diddy had him in a coma and was trying to unalive him. So original notes are distinct from the fabricated BS and offensive pages circulated via Amazon, which depict graphic sexual acts involving me that never took place and were edited and added after Miss Porter's tragic unaliving. And he uses I should say red rum. And if y'all seen The Shining, you know what red rum basically stands for if you show it in reverse of the mirror. The artist also suggested that Porter's actual book notes would have been used to expose those around her, saying it would have been akin to Cassie stepping forward with her lawsuit against Diddy back in November of 2023. Kimberlina, that's her actual name, Kimberlina. Chill. Y'all always trying to come up with these weird names, but it's okay. Thumbelina has a little sister named Kimberlina. Was taken from us way too soon. He said Kimberlina was taken away from us way too soon, and before she could complete her true thoughts, before this fake, unauthorized edit released on Amazon, which the disappearance of her computer and vital evidence raises significantly more questions. It is evident that her potential to expose the realities of her personal abuses, being drugged, the hashtag trafficking and hashtag human trafficking she was privy to, akin to the brave actions of Miss Cassie Ventura, pose a threat to those profiting from such heinous activities. In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Miss Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire, which brings us here today with the avalanche that has brought Satan to their chambers. And you want to know something? I love you, Albie Shore, for calling it. I've been calling that Nunja, the Nooka, the devil for years. And now here he come calling him Satan. Call him to the stand. Now, while Albie Shore never mentions the diddler by name, it's clear that he's referring to the mogul who dated Porter for over a decade, with whom he shares son Christian and twin daughters Delilah and Jessie. Porter and Albie Shore share Quincy, who recently spoke on his relationship with his father on Angela Yee's Lip Service podcast. So, yes, excuse me. The thing with, Albie Shore and Quincy, they have had like a very tumultuous relationship where they didn't have the best relationship because, Quincy was living with Kim, and I guess Kim being with Diddy, he was basically taking Kim. And I guess the overall narrative was that Al couldn't take care of his son, whatever the case was. So Diddy stepped in, was being father of the year, whatever the case was. Meanwhile, now y'all know the real deal, what Diddy was out here doing to Kim, among other things that we know of. Now, I'm glad he came out and said what he said because I believe every word. Like when you sit up here talking about that, you know what? Kim was gonna come out here and she had all this evidence, she was gonna spill all this tea, but then this book comes out saying some whole other narrative. And whoever's writing this book and this person didn't change their name because they didn't want to be, they don't want to let anybody know who they are and all this other stuff. It kind of makes you wonder, were y'all accomplices in this whole situation that you were making up things and changing names and dragging other people into this to basically not have yourself be exposed, as what Al is saying? And he also went and said, I think we got a cool relationship, right? He tends to like try and do like the dad thing a lot, but it's like that's not really where we're at in life. Like we homie. Okay, you say like too much, Quincy, but I guess we fault that to being young. Like we homies more than anything. He said, we're like, let's go do something. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of where we're getting at now, is actually knowing that we two grown men, you know what I mean? We can talk about anything and everything is not about anything else. Well, look, here's the thing. You no sir, no shade. Damn, I can't even talk. No shade, but I feel like you missed out on trying to be a father to your son because he's grown, and then Diddy seemed to be more or less was in Quincy's life more than anything, which I understand as to why when you see these whole things that are going back and forth to the courts, Quincy has been the one who we have been seeing along with the other brothers, with King Combs and who was the other one? And Justin. When we've been seeing the both of them, all three of them going to the courts, I can understand that even though all this other stuff is coming out about Diddy, and maybe Quincy wasn't aware of it, but he still, I guess, feels some sort of loyalty because he was there raising him growing up. Whether, what we could say whatever we want to say because we're the court of public opinion and we don't really know Diddy like that. We just know based off the evidence and everything that's coming out. So we can only respond to that. But a kid, someone who was a kid and grew up with that person, it's sort of like, yeah, I'm gonna just stand in solidarity and show my support. Now I don't know if he knows things or whether he feels that Diddy's guilty, but I guess he has a sense of attachment to him or whatever. So I'm glad that Quincy and Al are hanging out and getting to know each other, and hopefully they can build a stronger bond because he needs him now more than ever. But if now Al, if you were privy to a lot of the things that Diddy was doing, I'm not saying you should have came out because everybody was scared to do it back in the day, but I would have at least tried to find a way to really partake in my son's life unless you got your reasons. So, yeah, like I was saying about the whole 3-part thing, I know he was saying something or another in this thing. Hold on a second as I pull this up. I'm gonna leave that picture there because that's they at the fume for Kim, and it's sad. It's crazy how I love. It's funny they both there with a man bun. Al and his son. You can't look. Al be sure you cannot deny that Quincy is his. They look splitting image. And then you got Satan on the other side on the left trying to console. I'm like, I would not be surprised if you had something to do with Kim's, unaliving. So yeah, so Al went and said hashtag peep game over a decade and a half. I've been posting about and tagging random law enforcement agencies in hopes of protect loved ones, avoid deaths and tragedies that could have all been avoided. Despite this, I have been ignored, ridiculed, and medically silenced to cover up. That's the thing, medically silenced. That's the coma situation that they're trying to say Diddy had something to do with. To cover up these crimes you're all now aware of by a very aggressive hashtag PR team and costly campaign to silence and physically harm me from exposing. It only aimed to prevent me from further sharing publicly the facts and insights at Lady KP shared with me during our frequent and intimate conversations in her selfless attempts to save my life by sharing frequent plans to do harm and possibly by ending my life. Further, hashtag investigation request, RE Miss hashtag Kimberly Antoinette Porter. I did not know that was her full government. He said, I am writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who work at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter, including the publicist who assisted drafting this. It has come to my attention that these persons were also instructed to steal her computer and mobile devices, which contain her original book notes. Original notes are distinct from the fabricated BS and offensive pages circulated via Amazon, which depict graphic acts involving me that never took place and were edited and added after Mrs. Porter's tragic red rum. I urge you to consider who authorized such a fictitious publication without categorizing it as calculated fiction. The publicists and conspirators worked in concert from separate camps, launching this campaign, which appears to be very personal and a deliberate distraction from their involvement. He spelled there wrong. It's supposed to be Their, not There, but let me stop being an English teacher and continue. From their involvement in covering horrific crimes, assisted in and perplexed the public for many years, which I have personally experienced and cautiously deemed just a medical crisis for legal reasons until the rest of these atrocities were uncovered by authorities, making it more believable to a gullible public that has been fooled for so long. He went on to say more, because there's 3 parts to this. Saying Miss Porter's missing devices, allegedly already in evidence, unquestionably contain the critical evidence that has been concealed. I'm convinced that evidence corroborates closely with details outlined in the recent released public indictment documents. Additionally, it is pertinent to note that the individuals involved in this matter may also be connected to also concealing the alleged murders of several prominent artists, a situation that has left many bewildered, yet those who are Immersed in the culture and familiar with these intricacies of the entertainment industry may have a clearer understanding of the obvious. It is with a heavy heart that I reflect on a legacy of our beloved Lady KP, as in Kim Porter. It is truly disheartening to think that those she considers close friends and who were financially compensated by her perpetrators, excuse me, may have conspired with the perpetrator to obscure the truth and tarnish her name, my name, and her finished book notes with these ridiculous and unfounded narratives. The absence of Miss Porter leaves a void, depriving her of the opportunity to address these inaccuracies personally and to share her own factual memoirs detailing the brutal terror and madness she endured. Check all those text messages of those who served in a PR capacity, as they have brilliantly and underhandedly crafted this fictitious story to service a personal vendetta. There's more. There's so much to unpack. Unfortunately, I'm the only survivor by the blessings of a medical team and initially gave up because of multiple system organ failure. Septic, intubated on a ventilator or I think he meant for, because he put for 38 days and forced to visit death's doorstep. But the God I served and worshiped had another plan. Keep in mind that this is just the G-rated version of what I endured over a decade plus to silence the OG. I also kept forensic records of every individual who was sent my way to set me up, track me, gaslight me, and allegedly cause harm to my system. Now here's the third and final part of his Instagram post. I told you it was a lot, Chad. Unfortunately, Kimberlina was taken away from us too soon, and before she could complete her true thoughts, before this fake unauthorized edit released on Amazon, which the disappearance of her computer and vital evidence raises significantly more questions. It is evident that her potential to expose the realities of her personal abuses, being drugged, the hashtag search trafficking and hashtag human trafficking she was privy to, akin to the brave actions of Miss Cassie Ventura, posed a threat to those profiting from such heinous activities. In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Miss Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire which brings us here today with the avalanche that has brought Satan to their chambers. Let us honor the memory of Lady KP, acknowledging the struggle she faced and the truth she sought to reveal in her own personal notes, not this fake, unauthorized nonsense using my name to keep dragging me as a social punishment for exposing this years ago. So they also said there will be a significant suit headed right for the heads of the responsible parties who dragged my name into this BS. Kim and I talked right up to a few days prior to her demise. She was in good health, and we are in such a great friend space, reminiscing about old times and celebrating news of our son's accomplishments. No affair, just great friends. Hashtag warrior for Kim Porter. We must continue to advocate for justice and ensure that every one of the individuals who conspired against her are held accountable and prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. Thank you to the hashtag law enforcement agencies for their unwavering dedication to uncovering a portion of the truth. There's more. Rest in power, Lady KP. Your true legacy will not be forgotten. Most importantly, please pray for the kids. There is no validation in my claims coming true. There have been way too much collateral damage and death everywhere. So he put hashtag BCAC before coma, after coma, the hashtag I'll be short story. And here's the thing. Now I feel like, Al, you are in a place where you could really speak out and let the people know your truth. So now this book want to come out here and spread a whole bunch of lies. I feel like at this point, you ain't got nothing to lose. The diddler is need to be put under the jail, especially when that next story I'm going to get to in regarding him R-wording a woman and tying her up and all kinds of other craziness. And we're about to break down that expose from Rolling Stone that came out this morning. When we get to that story, y'all really gonna want to help dig a grave for this man and put his ass under the prison, because that's exactly where the diddler belongs. I told you that man was the devil. I've been screaming that from the rooftops for years. Y'all owe Wendy Williams an apology. Y'all owe a lot of these people out here an apology who have been going in on Diddy for years, and how y'all ones out here calling them all sorts of crazy because y'all ain't want to believe them. You thought they were just making stuff up. But I feel like at this point, Al, you said you got medical records of people's stuff. You have all the evidence that you need. I really feel like you need to spill tea and tell stories and leave it off Instagram. Because Instagram, you basically giving us the G-rated version. I definitely would love to read your book, bring you on the show, let you spill your tea, and I will definitely read it cover to cover. And as a class, we're going to break it down. So I'm really hoping that Al will get to a place where he's like, you know what? Yeah, let's get a book going. Or isn't it, wait, isn't there supposed to be an Al B. Shore biopic or something or another coming out? I need to look that up. If there is, all of this need to be put in there. I feel like there would be genuine interest in an Al B. Shore thing. And don't put that mess on BET. I need that on a streaming service. I don't know if people will spend money to go see an Al B. Shore movie in a theater, but we definitely need on a streaming service. Don't put on no BET. Don't put on no damn Lifetime. Put it on Hulu or something. But anyway, I know that was a lot. I need to break all that down because it was like just to give you all an insight into all the other stuff, especially what Al B. Shore has been through, being caught up in that whole Diddy matrix. But I say all this to say, what are your thoughts on this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, was it from the Ozempic? Well, I need to see that episode today. Not that I want to see her collapse, but that's crazy. And so I did hear they wanted to make a book from Kim's diary entries. Yeah, but now they talking about that the diary entry is fake. Well, good. Oh yeah, I did hear about that. I saw somebody else post them. I didn't know Perez Hilton did the story, but I did see that there was somebody else that I did a thumbnail. I was on YouTube earlier, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, Diddy's like, okay, well let the ninja starve. That's the least he could do." Because the less he's in the union, the better. We don't need him around no more. All the vitriol and evil that he's perpetuated, and then want to sit up here and call. When he said, "Oh yeah, I'm changing my name to Love," and yeah, I'm giving back the residuals, and I was cackling. It's like, is this ninja serious? With all this foolishness, I'm just here laughing, being my cynical self. Like, this is a bunch of BS. And I had friends who, in the industry and all this other stuff, and also do podcasting, that sort of thing, radio shows and all that. People very much in hip hop. So, oh yeah, it's a great idea. I'm sitting there looking, how gullible are y'all? Like, are y'all really serious? Y'all really think this man is really looking out for these people? He is evil. There's always intentions behind the stuff he does. All of a sudden, he wanna write his his past or want to come off as like this amazing person, and pretty much was spilling all his party tea. He was hiding in plain sight. Because I seen a lot of people was pulling up old footage of him doing interviews and this and that. I have to thank the sleuths of the social media who literally do the work, the Lord's work. And y'all will sit up in here and y'all will find old stuff from Diddy and put it up on social media as a reminder. Because we can't, some of us pundits, we can't sit here and just be on social media all day researching, looking things up. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm busy. So when y'all be up in here pulling this stuff up, I just been, oh, that's great. And then on top of that, it definitely helps, especially because when I can't stand Diddy, so I wouldn't listen to nothing that he would put out. I wasn't watching any of his interviews. If he was popping up anywhere, I was on a show of mine, I was fast forwarding. So I believe that too. You ain't the only one that believes that he had something to do with that, because a lot of people believe that. I wonder for years if him and Faith Evans, yeah, Faith Evans been real quiet, and you know who also been real quiet? Mary J. Blige, who out here trying to rehabilitate her image with this upcoming new album and tour. And I saw the other day that she was on Tamron Hall. And she was also on Sherry Shepherd. I think she was on there yesterday. And nobody, of course, these mainstream people, nobody wants to address the elephant in the room, right? Okay, so we just all gonna act like that Mary J. Blige never called Diddy her brother, and they didn't have this big connection with each other. And she probably knows a lot more than she letting on, especially with her coming from a past of abuse and drug use, being abused by men, that sort of thing. And, a lot of times, intentionally or unintentionally, people who have been abused flock to that sort of thing. So I'm sure she know where the bodies is buried, metaphorically speaking, and probably physically speaking as well. All right, so let's move on. Speaking of people who may know where the bodies is buried, let's talk about Miss Raymond. Miss Raymond. So that's another one I think that be out here fluid, sleeping not just with women. I think he gets down with the peen too, based on some of the stories I heard allegedly. I got to put in the alleged. So a number of fans expressed skepticism on Sunday after Usher Raymond LaFour's full Twitter account had been temporarily deleted, coming shortly after the arrest of his mentor, the Diddler, Monday in connection with the federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. He said, account got hacked and damn, y'all ran with it. That's what he wrote at 6:13 p.m. on Sunday, after commentary and theories of him deleting his history on Twitter poured in. Previously posts on his Twitter account also reappeared at the time. See you tonight at Intuit Dome. Now, just before Usher posted the update, Billboard had reached out to a rep for the singer to comment regarding his Twitter account. Excuse me. Usher, who mentions the Intuit Dome in his update, is set to perform at the LA Arena for the second night in a row on Sunday. The Usher Past, Present, Future tour makes its way to Oakland, California next before traveling to cities in Texas, Florida, and more. Now, some posts from users on Twitter on Sunday questioned the timing of what appeared to be social media cleanse in light of Usher's professional relationship with music mogul The Diddler. I don't even call him the other name no more. We call him The Diddler from now on. He's a Batman villain who was arrested last week on, the trafficking, racketeering, all that other stuff. Y'all already know what he's been arrested for at this point. Now, Usher worked with him at a young age. Their history goes back to the singer's 1994 album, which Combs executive produced. You also know that Usher was someone who lived with Diddy, or the Diddler, as I like to say. He lived with him for when he was, I believe, 13 or 14. And, he was with L.A. Reid, and L.A. Reid done passed him off to Diddy. He stayed at Diddy house. There's been old videos and things that have popped up where some people believe that Diddy may have done some inappropriate things to Usher. And a lot of people think that Usher, being a mentor to Justin Bieber, that when we showed that clip the other day of Justin and Diddy together, and Justin was stuttering in that video, and was like, "You want my number?" And Diddy was giving us to catch a predator tease in regards to his energy. I was like, why you up in here with leave that little white boy alone, or not even just the white boy part, but leave these little boys alone. And then there was a story that came out that there's footage of Diddy apparently hunching an 18-year-old. So a lot of people believe, and there was some people out here that also believe that Justin's song Lonely implicates or implies or gives us a peek inside of what he was dealing with coming up in this industry and the predators that tried to get him. I haven't heard that song in a minute, so I may have to take a gander at that to see if I catch some, of the things that he was throwing. But that's what a lot of the believers believe. Or should I say believers believe. Beliebe. We love a pun over here on this show. So, it's funny how he's saying all that to my, y'all so damn gullible, whatever the hell it was. What he said? Because I do have the tweet. He said, account got hacked and damn, y'all ran with it. First of all, what the hell we running with? Yeah, there go the tweet, if y'all can see it. How we running with a damn narrative? Number one, you're the one that decided to jump on social media and say that. So with you saying that kind of makes us think that, we see the little game that you're trying to play. So now you out here trying to blame us like, y'all just gullible. Y'all just running with whatever people tell y'all. We wasn't running with nothing. It just saying that based off the timing of everything, how it just comes across that, you just trying to delete a lot of stuff off your thing because there might be some guilt to some of this stuff with Diddy, and people believe that you were a victim at some of his parties back in the day, and you probably are a victim of the situation because Usher's gonna be 46 in October, so he is around that age. That'll be perfect. It was like, okay, so things, abuse, all this other stuff happened, and when you were a child in the 90s, you were not talking about no abuse. You're not talking about essays and this, that, and the other. We're gonna get into the Menendez thing because I feel like that's similar too. In the 90s, this was not something that was brought up. Nobody's gonna sit out here and believe that a young boy could be molested by a grown ass man. homophobia, a lot of that stuff partakes in this situation, especially when it comes to the police. Like, who was Usher going to go to if anything happened to him and report anything that, was happening to him, especially when you're young and you want that career and you don't want to go back to living the way you lived before you became famous. So you're going to do what you got to do and just, keep your rose-colored glasses on and look forward and not worry about all this other stuff that's going on because you want that success and that, that career. Like I've been saying, the music industry is one big ass pyramid scheme. Everybody don't make it out being wealthy and successful. A lot of people go home screwed up and broke. But he wasn't the only one whose social media apparently was hacked because Pink Twitter feed was also deleted. And then they said Billboard contacted a ref of Pink, but did not receive any response at press time. And they also said at the press time, her tweets had not been recovered. So I don't know. Since this article, if Pink's tweet, shout out to her. Where's she at? I went over what I did last night. I came back 2:45. Where's she at? Now, I love me some tweet from back in the day. But anyway, let's not talk about tweet. Let's talk about Pink. So I'm wondering what's going on. Look, Pink is busy on tour. She ain't probably worrying about no damn Twitter. She don't even like Elon. She probably don't even pay attention to what's going on with Twitter. I don't even know if she tweets because I don't be on Twitter like that. I just use Twitter to basically promote a lot of my entertainment news stuff. I don't be on Twitter like that. So Twitter's just there. I'm on everything else. I'm on Instagram. Again, now that I had to create a whole new damn profile, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, and Lord, let me tell you, I gave in and I joined Threads. So if you want to follow my Threads, it's Chris Avalon1, same as my new Instagram. So yeah, I gave in and joined Threads. I wasn't going to, but I'm like, child, let me just go in and let me just use it to promote all my stuff on there. So I use it for like my reels and all other stuff and photos. So I say all this to say, Usher, you full of shit. You are full of it. And you really want us to like just ignore the fact that you did have a close relationship with the Diddler. Similar to Mary J. Blige. Like I said, Mary out here trying to rehabilitate her image with this new album. And it's for the fans. Thank the fans. Blah, blah. And it's cute or whatever, that's what you want to do. But sis, if you sit down here thinking that nobody's supposed to ask you about your association with Diddy, same thing with you, Usher, and also Jennifer Lopez, you another one. If you really think that we ain't gonna be out here asking y'all, and y'all really was the ones that was attached to Diddy. And look, this is T coming out from the 90s. People were bringing up things that happened in the 90s and early 2000s. Jennifer was with him at the time. And I'm sure that she knows something. Like if you was there around the time with the whole Shine situation, and we talked about that story the other day, her smuggling the pow pow in the club. And now he spent 10 years in prison. And yeah, they both, her and the diddler, ran off in the SUV, was running lights, got pulled over. She spent the night in jail. The whole mug shot with her and him. And then at that, Guadalupe stepped in and was, oh, hell no, you not going to sit up in here and destroy my damn child. I will take off this chunk cloth and beat your black ass with it. Trust and believe. Don't fuck with a Puerto Rican mother. I know plenty of them. When you grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and you've been surrounded by a lot of Blacks and Puerto Ricans, and it's like I have members of my family who are part of the Latino community, it's like, Now, a Puerto Rican mother, she don't give a damn who you are. She will step you and beat your ass with them chunklers. So I feel this is saying, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all believing Usher? Or do you think it was a little hackalation going on with Elon Musk's Twitter? I mean, damn, that man done ruined every damn thing else. Why would y'all be surprised if there was a little hackalation going on in this dancery? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so Cleveland said, I wonder if they're going to exhume her remains and perform more tests. Well, that's exactly something that needs to happen. And I feel like that's what he said, dig up the body, because we need to know what's going on with Miss Porter. And I do feel like they need to dig her up. They need to dig her up like they need to dig up Ivana Trump. She on Mar-a-Lago property. They need to dig her ass up, too. Give me too many things going on right here. That's why I just don't like them crazy ass rich people. I just got stuff falling up in here. So let me sit up straight. Cause my damn posture. But anyway, okay, so we got a lot of Diddy stuff. We got like two more topics with him, and then we can move on to the rest of the show. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Method Man, because this is another thing that I was like, I agree with him on in regards to this. There's been people out here, and I feel like unless it's ignorant media conglomerates, some people who really don't mess with hip hop, but kind of bring a little bit of that racist undertone to the situation, they be the ones that be trying to lump everything up under one umbrella. Or Bussy Madass, who want to make up him and that other one with the dirty neck and the nappy beard, Faison Love. Well, y'all want to come up in here and make excuses for the diddler. Oh well, this is basically like all them. He just being a freak. Everybody, y'all just want to condemn him for being a freak. And I've been seeing a lot of people on social media saying that foolishness. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with being a freak. There's nothing wrong with being sexually promiscuous. I am pro, sex worker. I am pro sex. Trust and believe, I have been to many of sex parties. There's no judgment over here in regards to that. But when you're going to go to these parties, there is a thing called consent. There is a thing called, there's etiquette that goes into being in a public place or a private room or whatever, a dark room, whatever the case is, when it comes to sexuality. I cannot be forcing myself on people. I cannot be forcing drugs on people and taking advantage of them when they're under the influence and they don't have an ability to fight back. That is abuse. That is the R word. And you should be criminalized for it. If you're stringing people up and tying them up and you're actually just violating them without their permission, that's crossing the line. So nobody is judging the fact of you being a freak. When y'all want to just brush it off as just that, then I kind of want to be looking at you side-eyed and be like, well, what skeletons you got in your closet? Now, this is the way you looking at it. So Method Man is basically drawing the line in the sand between the diddler crimes and hip hop as a whole, because there was a point when it was like, whenever it comes to hip hop being under fire with certain things, a lot of people do like to lump all that under one umbrella, and that has to do with the media, in my opinion, and just dummies that don't know no damn better. So Method Man was recently stopped by TMZ on Thursday, September 19th, when he was asked his opinion on the diddler's ongoing allegation and if it will affect hip-hop. See, of course it had to be TMZ, because TMZ, y'all just be real ignorant, especially when it comes to dealing with black issues or any kind of black stories. The way that y'all handle them stories versus the way y'all handle white stories, I see the biases. This is why a lot of times those of us who are smart got to sit here and take the situation in our own hands and really, give what needs to be given and tell it accurately and not rely on these old saltines over here who probably have black clientele, but a lot of them are pick-me's and ain't really giving the real story the way it needs to be given. Y'all know who y'all are. So, taken aback by the question, disagreed and said he doesn't believe Diddy's alleged crimes have anything to do with the entire genre, saying, I don't think it has anything to do with hip hop. What are we talking about here, really? It has nothing to do with hip hop. I don't see the correlation. Explaining how a celebrity's actions doesn't always affect their music, the Wu-Tang Clan vet drew a parallel between the Bad Boy CEO and R. Kelly, saying, if we're talking about the music and creative and stuff, there are people still listening to R. Kelly's ish. And he's absolutely right. My sister being one of them. She loves R. Kelly music. Even with the whole situation of the things he did with people, she listens to Ignition, Step in the Name of Love, and all that stuff. And I can guarantee you, many of black barbecues I've been to, R. Kelly gets played. Now, I can't stand him because, all that stuff. This is what I hate about being in media, is because when you know too much, it's hard to disassociate yourself from the man versus the art. I feel like in certain situations I can do that with movies, because when you've grown up watching certain films, and I think when it comes to films, it's an ensemble. So like, I can't stand Mel Gibson, but I love Braveheart, and I love Lethal Weapon, all four. Except that line that he says in Lethal Weapon 4, "Into the Drag Queen." I'm like, that's racist, but whatever. I love the Mad Max franchise, but if Mel Gibson was to come out with a movie today, I would not watch it because of the stuff I know. But if you grew up on certain films and you love those films, it's hard for me to disassociate themselves from that. It's weird that I can do that with movies, but not music. I think maybe because music represents that one specific person, whereas there's not a whole ensemble. Now we can sit and talk about producers, whatever the case is, but not everybody knows producers on certain situations. So when you see an ensemble of actors on a set, it's easy. Like I can't disassociate because I'm like, I love this movie so much. I gotta stop watching this movie because of one damn person. So there's that. But I do agree with him on what he said. It's like, why are we sitting here lumping all of hip hop under one situation? Now, maybe if they would have asked ignorant behind Bussy mad ass, he probably would have went along with giving TMZ what they want. Because how many times can he go on Blad TV and give his dumb opinion on something? But yeah, with TMZ going there, because the one thing I've always disliked about TMZ, whenever it comes to black folks and whatever issues we got in our community, they will try to find every damn rapper to get their opinion on something. Like, this is all y'all do? So you want to find every rapper under the sun to have an opinion on this situation. It just sounds willfully ignorant. So I definitely agree with Meth on this. You know, Meth Man is like one of my favorite rappers. I mean, yeah, Wu-Tang Clan, whatever. But Meth Man and Redman, whenever they came up with the individual stuff, and when they joined forces, first of all, they gave me my life as a kid growing up. I loved all the stuff they did, the production, with Eric Sermon, all that other stuff. So, and Method Man is still one of my favorite rappers, and I like that he's transitioned into acting, and he's really proved himself as an actor as well. I want to see him get into more stuff. Like, I need him on the same level as like a Queen Latifah and a Will Smith and even LL Cool J. Like, I want to see him in that vein. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, where they go with that. Now, sidebar, speaking of Latifah, I forgot to bring that up. She's got herself a biopic coming out, and I'm actually excited for it. Will Smith is producing this. Since I brought it up, I might as well mention this in passing. And I'm like, sis, now, if you're going to come out with a biopic, girl, you better start spilling tea about your lesbianism, because you cannot do a biopic without talking about the many girls you've been with, especially since growing up, when I used to hang out down at the piers, Miss Mama, I used to see you down there with a new girl in your car. So we're not going to sit up here and pretend like you wasn't out here, you know, being a lesbian. And it's nothing to be ashamed of, because at this point, we already know your tea. So I say all this to say, you know, I had to throw that up in there, just, you know, as a thing in passing. What do y'all think of this story? Do y'all agree with Method Man on what he had to say? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's get into this Diddy mess. This is like two more topics with him, and then we could move on with the rest of the show, Jam. So they talk about his freak off videos are being traded on the dark web for $500 million. And this is according to, well, it's half a billion, 500 million. This is according to Miss Jaguar Wright. Now, I know a lot of people out here be calling her a liar. They don't believe a lot of the stuff that she's been saying. However, she may not have gotten it all right, but for majority of a lot of the stuff that she's been saying, that's pretty much coming to fruition. So Jaguar been in the business. She knows the tea. She knows some things. I don't know. She thinks she knows everything, but she knows enough. So, according to Radar Online, R&B singer and songwriter Jaguar Wright claims several celebrities were included in the alleged video, including Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, and Drake. And I'm surprised because Nicki Minaj loved jumping online, fighting with, you know, celebrity, you know, this one, that one, the other one, Steve Stout recently. So where'd she coming after Jaguar? Because she loved jumping on the line for, you know, any little thing these days, when she should be working on this Pink Friday 2 tour. Just focus on that. Everything don't need a response on social media now, but especially but when it comes to this, I feel like if she's not on that and she's dragging Diddy in the comments and just recently unfollowed him, well, she should have unfollowed him a while ago. Now, if you on that video, sis, it's gonna look bad. Now, during a recent interview, Wright was asked if Diddy is protecting people or if people are protecting him. She said, "Oh no, he's selling it because he needs the cash. The last freak off tape that just got sold on the dark net, which I know because I monitor, went for 500 million. It was a really interesting night in Calabasas, and he just sold that footage." Well, now I do wonder if them Kardashians is on there, because recently Miss Clozilla got called out for talking about Diddy freak offs parties. So, you know, she was up in there laying it low and spreading it wide. And I'm sure, I would not be surprised, Pimp Mama Chris sent all her daughters up in there, or some of them, like Kim and Chloe, Clozilla. I don't think Courteney would have won. Courteney, the only one that just be like, oh, I ain't doing shit, but I want to get money. I want to get paid to be doing things, but I want to do nothing. Which, Kim likes to call her out on. You don't do that. That's why they be up in there getting their fake bronze all over the white walls and pulling each other's weaves out 9 times out of 10 because they always bickering. But then Wright explained how dark coin prevents the video from leaking out of the dark web. She said most people don't even know that the dark coin exists, but that's how they're trading for all of the flesh they sell. That's why I became so outraged last year when the twins turned 16 and he had them dressed like prostitutes, and then he auctioned them off as NFTs. The NTF was attached to that dark effing coin. So you basically out here trying to say that he out here trying to pour out his daughters and selling them on the dark web like, you sell a slave in an auction? That's what this is given in regards to her comment, her commentary. And they said there's no suggestion that celebrities that she named were involved in any wrongdoing. Well, I don't think that maybe they were involved in any wrongdoing, but I do feel like if you said Justin Bieber was there, Chris Brown, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, and Drake were there, that they probably just laying the low and spreading the wide of being sexual. Now, in regards of I don't know, because them rumors about Drake allegedly getting it in with them young girls, allegedly. I wouldn't be surprised if they caught him out there. But yeah, when they go into these little parties, all kinds of shenanigans and things happen. But I just don't like the fact that it's if I'm going there doing my dirt, and here's the thing, I know when it comes to celebrities, they can't do the public sex thing, meaning they can go to our regular, sex parties, where there's dark rooms and things of that nature, and their tea is being, and they don't have to worry about, or maybe they would have to. The possibility of being exposed. The one thing that you would expect if in Hollywood, and I believe that they should have these, if you have a swingers party, if you have one of those freak offs, let's call it that, because I feel like that's way more PG to say than the S word, because YouTube and they damn algorithms. So if you have your public freak offs, with sidebar, a shout out to a friend of mine, Chris Cowley, who I saw posted something or another, and he said that basically Diddy's freak offs are chemsex parties. And I'm like, you want to know something? You are really on it, because that is a fact. When you're up in there doing all these weird drugs, like the Tucci and all this other stuff, that pretty much is what y'all giving. Y'all are pretty much giving chemsex parties. And for those of you who don't know what a chemsex party is, that's basically when you're doing party and play. So it's people are doing meth and all kinds of other stuff. And quiet as it's kept, they said that's what's in that damn Tucci. That they got a little meth in there. They have Special K. It's mixed with all kinds of things. Everything is in there, but the pink, it's called pink, pink cocaine, booger sugar. But everything's in it but the booger sugar. You ain't gonna find that in Colombia. Or would you? So, now do I think also that is Diddy protecting people, or people are protecting him? I think it's both. I think in some ways that Diddy is protecting some people, and that people are protecting him because money, whatever the case is, he's paying them off. But then at the end of the day, but on the other hand, the way Diddy is very egomaniacal and selfish, I do believe that he's willing to snitch and sell out whoever for his own personal gain. I truly believe that. Now look at this picture. You got Leonardo DiCaprio with his legs all open. I would not be surprised if Diddy, after he was drinking that Moet, went and put his face between me down there and went down on Leo. Because the tea about Leonardo DiCaprio allegedly why he like being around these girls under the age of 25. Well, his recent girlfriend's 26. So I guess he's trying to break that curse that he only likes girls up to the age of 25, and then once your 26th birthday come around, exit stage left. So people be looking at him in that way. So do I think maybe some things may have happened to Leo? I would not be surprised. They also said Jumanji actor and comedian Kevin Hart was recently caught on camera hosting one of Diddy's freak-off parties while resting next to a bathtub. Oh yeah, I remember that story, Chad. Speaking to the camera and holding up a microphone while a scantily clad female partygoer sat alongside him. During the clip, one of the girls' hair goes up in flames after catching fire on one of the candles placed around the tub. Hart is heard assuring she was okay and joked about how appropriate safety measures have been put in place. Well, I don't believe that. Now, at one point in the video, the actor is seen next to Diddy in his bed and said, "If we can, let's just move the camera a little this way. I don't want my shot to even come close to the bed at all." Oh, yeah, I remember that story. And I would not be surprised because, Kevin Hart be out here trying to be all homophobic. Somebody, first of all, with his height and that damn high ass voice he got, you can't tell me he ain't never had nothing in his ass. So, when I be saying doth some of y'all be protesting a little bit too much, I do believe that some of y'all have been initiated in or what's the word? Tapped in or whatever one of those. So it also said that 70s show actor Ashton Kutcher has also gone viral after an old video of him discussing Diddy's infamous parties resurfaced on social media. During an interview on the popular YouTube series Hot Ones, Kutcher told the host, "I've got a lot I can't tell, so I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm actually cycling through them. Diddy party stories, man, that was like some weird memory lane." Now, they said there was no suggestion that Ashton was involved in any impropriety. Well, probably not. I believe that he's seen some things and may have partaken in some things, some orgies and this, that, and the other. But do I think that maybe he caused harm to other people? I don't think so. I believe that, not everybody who goes to these parties are committing crimes. A lot of these people are up in there just letting their freak flag fly and don't want to disclose what exactly they're up in there doing. If he was getting with dudes, if he was getting with girls, because, child, trust and believe, a lot of people in Hollywood, even if you're not a homosexual, a lot of times people will be partaking in same-sex stuff. A lot of people will be partaking in drugs. It's experimenting. Not everybody should be hit with that label. But then there are some people that I do feel like have been taken advantage of. And I would not be surprised if Justin Bieber has been taken advantage of in this business, if Chris Brown has been taken advantage of, and then he's lashed out and reflected a lot of that abuse on other people. It would make perfect sense. Especially the way Chris Brown came up from a broken home. His mother was abused by his father. And then he went in that whole situation with Rihanna. And then, when it comes to getting your career built up, all the crazy things that happen behind the scenes with these predators. So that's what I'm getting at. And Drake, I would not be surprised if they did stuff to Wheelchair Jimmy too. So the source explained Diddy's alleged tactic of recording everything at his party, saying there are widespread stories Diddy has a stash of recordings of these parties, and those involved are thinking things they got up to pre-smartphone days are now going to come back and bite them hard. A lot of people could end up getting canceled or jailed if those tapes exist and entered as evidence in the case. Now, child, here's the thing I had to say. Now, I do wonder if we're going to hear some real tea from his close celebrity friends who have attended his party, such as Jennifer Lopez, Justin Bieber, Usher, Anna Wintour, Leo DiCaprio, Prince Harry, Little Kim, Paris Hilton, Mariah Carey, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rick Ross, DJ Khaled, Ashton Kutcher, Will Smith, and all them damn Kardashians. But Jay-Z got his own fish to fry because he's getting into it with Dame Dash. I was going to bring that story up, but I was like, it's a little too heavy with all this stuff today. So I'm probably going to save that story for tomorrow because we definitely need to go into that. But Jay-Z, I feel like, child, it's only a matter of time before he's the next one on the chopping block. So Beyonce, I hope you got an ironclad divorce situation set up because your man is next. And, a lot of people going to be thinking that I say allegedly, but I do believe it's only a matter of time. They're about to get Sean Carter. Because you think he ain't been out here doing dirty misdeeds too? I don't want to say if it's Diddy level type stuff, but he's been known to do some shiesty business stuff behind the scenes too. And Dame Dash has alluded to it over the years in regards of certain things with him. And then I saw a recent video of Dame Dash being interviewed by Nick Cannon, and he spazzed out on Nick Cannon. It's about, oh, there's a question you want to ask me, or maybe the real thing is you want to ask Jay-Z. I think it had to do with Foxy Brown of when he met her, where she first came up. She was 15, and he was having a relationship with her, sexual. And she's underage because he was, I believe, in his 20s at the time. And a lot of people believe that, yeah, Beyonce's another victim of his and how possessive he gets of her, where she couldn't work with no other rappers. Because I used to always say, I'm like, damn, Beyonce, you don't know any other rappers in the business you can collaborate with? Why is everything with Joe Camel? He can't be the only one out here you doing collaborations with. But insecurity is a mother flower. When you got the baddest bitch in the game wearing your chain, as you like to say, but then you too damn insecure because you wondering how somebody with your features, because I'm sure that's what it is, could bag a chick like her. But if you like it, I love it. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? As I said, I'm gonna cover the story regarding Jay-Z and this whole drama that's going on with him on the next episode. So let me know whatever your thoughts are on this whole situation about this freak off videos. I'm like, this is crazy that y'all out here just auctioning stuff off. Like this is a scene out of Hostel. Like y'all auctioning off bodies and stuff to do bodily harm too. Or in that sort of world, like this is crazy with this whole video thing. Like this is nothing, no laughing matter that y'all out here trading this type of information with people, because I'm sure it's only a matter of time before this stuff gets out. So whoever y'all are, the celebrities that's on these tapes, y'all better figure out what y'all gonna do, because if y'all get canceled, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. But like I said, I feel like Jay-Z's next. And they said, I think Jay-Z, yep, exactly. Like I'm saying, like, yeah, they coming after him. They coming after Joe Camel, goddammit. Now let's get into this final Diddy story that came out this morning, where they basically said he was accused of violently R-wording a woman and filming the attack in 2001. So this morning it came out that another woman filed a lawsuit against the Diddler, accusing the disgraced rapper of violently assaulting her back in 2001. So we're going to go at length through this story because there's a lot. And I want to break down as much of the details possible. And I want to take my time because I'm probably going to have to get creative with some of these graphic words up in here. So shout out to Rolling Stone for this story, by the way. So a woman has claimed Sean the Diddler Combs and his former bodyguard drugged, bound, and R-worded her. Later learning the alleged R-word was recorded and allegedly sold as the P word, the videos that y'all be watching with people doing things with each other with consent of the sexual kind. Y'all know what I mean. Rhymes with corn. According to court papers obtained by Rolling Stone. Now, Thalia Graves is the 11th person to come forward to accuse Combs of SA, claiming the Bad Boy Entertainment founder assaulted her at his infamous Daddy's House recording studio in New York City in 2001. Graves' lawsuit comes a week after the 54-year-old was arrested and charged with trafficking and racketeering. Graves said she became friendly with Combs in late 1999 through her then boyfriend, who was an executive at Bad Boy. Due to the boyfriend's position at the company, Graves said she frequently attended events hosted by at Combs Homes, and often visited her boyfriend at Daddy's House recording studio. The boyfriend is not named in the lawsuit, by the way. Things took a turn when Graves allegedly received a call from Combs, who wanted to meet with her to discuss her boyfriend's supposed performance issues. Why the hell would he want to discuss her performance issues with her? Isn't it an HR situation? Or who is his boss? Oh, wait a minute. If you're the CEO of Bad Boy, why are you trying to this don't make no damn sense to me. Like, why are you trying to talk to the girlfriend? But I guess her being naive, she went over there. And then it said this is according to the lawsuit, which was filed in the Southern District of New York on Tuesday morning. Wanting to help her boyfriend and already knowing Combs, Graves said that she agreed to the meeting. It was evidently a sick and twisted way of using his ownership of and title at Bad Boy and its affiliate entities to abuse plaintiff and also show his power and ability to humiliate her boyfriend, his executive, the lawsuit claims. A few hours later, Combs arrived at Graves' residence in an SUV driven by his then bodyguard, Joseph Sherman, aka Big Joe. Graves says she accepted a glass of wine from Combs and quickly became lightheaded, dizzy, and physically weak. By the time they arrived at the recording studio, Graves said she struggled to walk, and when they reached Combs' office, Graves alleged she lost consciousness. Why is this giving Bill Cosby tease? So him and Bill Cosby must have been hanging out a lot. But yeah, let's move on to this picture because I said this is giving gay face. Come on, Butch Queen. Diddy is giving Butch Queen in this photo. Go ahead, Butch Queen, first time in drag at a bowl. Is he walking face? Face, face, face. I get face, beauty face. Okay, let's get serious. I just had to make it light because this is heavy stuff. So, in retrospect, it is clear that Combs had caused a drug to be put in the plaintiff's drink, as a few sips of wine had never impacted her that way. This is according to the lawsuit. When Graves came to, she claimed she was naked and bound, with her hands tied behind her back and what felt like a plastic grocery bag. As she shouted for help, Sherman allegedly slammed her face down onto the pool table. Shortly thereafter, Combs entered the room naked. He then bent Graves over the table, causing her feet to dangle above the floor, forcibly held her down, and penetrated her from the front, well, actually from the back, without her consent, the back door. Third input. Graves was unable to move, totally overpowered physically, in addition to being drugged and bound. Graves claimed she screamed out in pain, but Combs ignored her and continued the alleged violent assault, smashing her head into the pool table when she tried to escape. Graves claimed she lost consciousness again, and when she woke, Sherman allegedly slapped her multiple times and forced her to perform a mouth massage on him. Sometime later, Graves claimed she woke up on the couch naked and alone. She alleges that she was in intense pain and had burning sensations down her front end and her back end, with bruising on her face and wrist. Still dizzy and weak, plaintiff called a livery driver that her family regularly hired and knew well. Now, I'm wondering if this case, if she could actually call this stuff into evidence, that there was a time when she did call the person to corroborate with her story. But then again, if you look at it, it seems like a lot of livery driving businesses went out of business because of Uber and Lyft and all these other things. So people really aren't hailing cabs. We have the yellow cab system, but overall, livery type cabs companies, we don't have a lot of those don't exist no more because a lot of people are using Uber, Lyft, and yellow cabs, especially in New York. So they said Graves claims that she was disheveled, crying uncontrollably, and suffering from agonizing pain. Neither Sherman nor a rep for Combs immediately replied to a request for comment. The driver drove her to the hospital and tried to convince her to report the R word and get a R word kit, but she was unable to leave the car. Excuse me, shaking and crying hysterically, and terrified of what Combs would do to her and her family if she reported him. This is what the lawsuit claims. Graves informed her then boyfriend of what happened, according to the lawsuit, but he discouraged her from going to the police, allegedly telling her that it could negatively impact his own career. Well, child, I feel like after that, I'm breaking up with your ass. Because first of all, what you're not going to do is sit up in here and worry about your career over the fact that your boss did what he did to me. So you putting that over Coochie and your girlfriend? Well, then screw you. You don't love me, in the words of Pheromone. Now, in the years since, Graves alleged that she has moved multiple times and that Combs had Sherman have threatened her to remain silent about the alleged assault. However, she maintains that she disclosed to close friends what happened. In November 2023, a few days after Cassandra Cassie Ventura filed her trafficking and SA lawsuit against Combs, Graves claims that her ex-boyfriend told her that Combs and Sherman had recorded the alleged R word and shown it to others. So if there's evidence there that there's a video, ooh, Diddy, you going to, well, I was going to say you going to jail. He already in jail, but they're just going to have to dig a bigger hole to put him under it. Because if there's footage out there, then there's the evidence. Call it to the stand, you know. Now, this reminds me also when she said that she had to move multiple times. This sounds similar to, remember the woman that was in the nightclub pow-powing with Jennifer Lopez and Diddy and Shine? And she said the same thing, that she had to move multiple times because of, the situation and all the things that was going on at that time with her and the diddler threatening her. He disclosed that Combs and Sherman had a pattern and practiced a non-consensually recording women engaging in acts and making those videos available to the public, including by selling tapes as pornography. The lawsuit alleges Graves suffers from PTSD, severe depression, unaliving ideation, it's the S word, and intrusive thoughts, and has attempted to end her life, her lawsuit says. Her experience has left her in constant fear. So, yes, she is suing the diddler and 8 of Combs' companies under the New York City Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, as well as a state civil rights law for the alleged secret recording and distribution of the tape. This is the latest civil lawsuit against Combs, who has been sued for allegedly SAing at least 7 others since Ventura filed her graphic trafficking complaint against him last November. Now, Combs has settled with Ventura for undisclosed sum within 24 hours, but her 35-page complaint became the roadmap for the music mogul's criminal prosecution and inspired others to file claims as well. On Thanksgiving, the day New York Adult Supervisors Act was set to expire, 2 more women sued with similarly disturbing claims against Combs. Joy Dickerson Neal, alleged Combs drugged and SA'd her when she was a Syracuse University student in 1991. In a claim similar to Graves' complaint, she alleged that Combs filmed the incident and showed the video to others. Through a rep, Combs denied the allegation, calling the lawsuit a money grab. Same thing. It's funny how he said the same damn thing when it came to Cassandra. You said, oh, it's a money grab. Oh, you're lying. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. And it's like, but sir, you said the same thing about Cassie, and what happened? Cassie was like, okay, you want to play with me? Checkmate, sir. And checkmated his behind. The video dropped of him beating her in the damn hallway of the hotel, where somebody had the absolute gall to get on my timeline and talk about, oh, she was stealing from him. Excuse me? Are you kidding me with that? Maybe some man need to go around and beat your behind and see how you like it. Because to me, even when y'all see evidence and things of this nature, and people will still defend this man, I can't. I can't argue with the slow. Now, in a claim similar to Graves' complaint, she alleged Combs filmed the incident and showed the video to others. Hours after Dickerson Neal's lawsuit grabbed headlines, Liza Gardner alleged Combs and singer-songwriter Aaron Hall took turns R-wording her following an MCA Records event in 1990. Gardner said she was 16 years old at the time and that Combs turned irate and began assaulting and choking her until she almost passed out during a confrontation a day later. Now, Combs and his lawyers denied Gardner's allegations as well, calling them fabricated. In early December, a 4th accuser alleged Combs, former Bad Boy president Harve Pierre, and a 3rd man gang R-worded her at Combs' New York recording studio in 2003 when she was 17. In late February, Rodney Little Rod Jones filed a lawsuit accusing Combs of SA, harassment, and not compensating him for his work on the Grammy-nominated The Love album. The federal agents raided Combs' home in LA and Miami Beach, where in March, more women stepped forward with lawsuits alleging violent SAs. And so, yeah, that was a lot. I told you that was a lot. I had to break it on down so that way y'all get an idea of what is now coming up from this woman. And I believe every word. And here's the thing. Like I said before, the diddler, they're going to throw his ashy behind under the damn prison because there ain't no damn cell big enough. Ain't no cell wide enough. Ain't no deep enough. You know, one of those. Ain't no cell deep enough. Ain't no cell wide enough to put his behind in there because there ain't even a place in hell hot enough to put him. And so you like to shout God this, God that. You going to hell, the deepest part of hell. And so I just don't feel like there's anything I can add to this except that this man is vile. This man is disgusting. He is absolute trash. And I'm so glad that Satan is getting his due. I would think the devil himself would do something this sick. But here we are. And I do wonder, when all these little documentaries and stuff come out about him, because we got the one for 50 Cent, and then we got the one that's coming out that's being produced by the people that did the Nickelodeon documentary. I do wonder if there's going to be any movies or anything that's going to be inspired by this whole Diddy case. I'm even wondering if SVU, Law and Order SVU, is even going to do a rip from the headlines Diddy type storyline with their upcoming season, because the new season starts in October. So, was it season 26? Damn, that show been on for so long. Shout out to Mariska and Ice-T and all of them. You know, I love me some Law and Order SVU. I've been watching that show long enough to know it's like, I just love stuff like that when they get those bad guys. I can't stand pedophiles. I can't stand ass offenders. I can't stand anybody in that world. And I love that this show tackles, all of that. So I wonder if they're going to come up with a rip from the headlines type story about this. I feel like they've done something similar to this in the past, but based on little things, but really go in with this upcoming season. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story, this latest case revolving Diddy, and the fact that he's out here, another person has come forward saying that they was abused by him. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. They said there is a video of Jay-Z hitting a woman. And I said, they all, birds of a feather flock together. Him, Jay-Z, Diddy, Jay-Z, all of them. They all did stuff like that. He said the son is of the guy who was recently tried to go after Trump, was arrested for child. Wait, is this a story that I covered the other? Are you talking about the guy that was at one of those Diddy freak offs that went and shot up the lobby of one of Trump's places? Is that what we talking about, or is this something else? Because I'm like, I don't know if I know about that story. I'm gonna have to look into that. Is it something that I previously covered, which was on not yesterday's show, the day before yesterday? I don't know why I feel like I did a show yesterday, but it was a show I did on Sunday. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, because I'm like, I need to cleanse my palate with this Diddy thing. But we got another heavy topic that we got to get into that has to do with, abuse, child abuse, SA, all that other stuff. Let's talk about Monsters, this Ryan Murphy series. So it's a lot, so I'm going to lump it all in before we get to Ryan Murphy's comment. So there is a trial expert that is speaking out and saying that the incest stuff storyline that's in the Monster series is a fantasy. But first things first, the brothers actually have been going around doing interviews as of late. They recently appeared, they a shout out to Variety from this story. So they were basically saying that Lyle and Erik have spoken out, for the first time in decades, in the official trailer for the Menendez brothers, a new documentary that is about to come out in October on Netflix. So while people are feeling the ways that they're feeling about Ryan Murphy and his depiction of what had happened, there is a documentary that's coming out on Netflix in October. I'm going to watch that and I'm going to compare notes because there have been a lot of people. Erik Menendez recently came out and said that a lot of the stuff in Ryan Murphy's series based on their life is inaccurate. We've had Lyle's wife came out and said that stuff is not true. I don't know how she coming out being a spokesperson when she wasn't there. She wasn't even married to the man at the time when the crimes was committed. So I don't know how she coming out saying whatever she's saying. She should just mind her business and kept it moving. Continue to be a pen pal to your man. Like, I don't know why she out here just asserting herself in something that ain't got nothing to do with her. Now, if people want to speak, Lyle and Erik can speak. Or people who were there doing the trial at the time. They should be coming out saying what they need to say in regards of based on what they've seen. And we'll get into what Ryan Murphy had to say in a second, because Ryan Murphy feels like, well, how they coming out saying that stuff is inaccurate when in fact they didn't even see the show. Why the hell I need to watch a series when I was there? I'm the one, me and my brother both took turns blowing our parents' body parts all with shotguns. So I think I know what happened because I was there when it happened. But Ryan Murphy gonna sit up here and tell me, well, how you gonna sit up in here and make a comment when you ain't see the show? So I gotta sit back and watch this sick, twisted stuff of you spilling tea about my personal life to know if it's true or not. You weren't there, sir. So how you gonna sit up here and tell me? And the people in the comments was agreeing with the Menendez brothers, calling Ryan Murphy all kinds of vile names. But we'll get into that. But in the documentary that's going to be coming, he says asked why we killed our parents. Maybe now people can understand the truth. What happened that night is very well known, but so much hasn't been told. We were not the ones who told the story about our lives. Two kids don't commit this crime for money. And I feel like when you watch the show, it is implied like, oh, well, when they found out that because, one of the brothers, Lyle and Erik, they were both running around robbing the neighborhood, stole $100 million. The father, Jose, had to pay everybody back when they got caught. He had Lyle work for him, for his company, but he never showed up, so he fired him. Erik was basically, he was going on trying to become a professional tennis player. So it seemed like he was on the up and up, but Lyle was the one that was being a mess. He was the one that was getting in stuff. And then, of course, there was the stories of Lyle was being SA'd by his father. And then Erik also was ending up being SA'd by his father, which there is one episode, I believe is episode 5, where they dive deep into Erik in jail talking to his attorney about the graphic details of being abused by his father. Episode 6, we get a little more backstory in regards of the mother and how the mother, Kitty, and the father, Jose, met, and then the kids and all the other stuff, and then the incestuous stuff that is brought up, meaning that Lyle and Erik had a relationship with each other, what some people are calling fabricated, including one of the trial experts. So the latest installment of the series basically saying they're following backlash for the portrayal of Erik and Lyle Menendez in Netflix's series, The Lyle and Erik Menendez Story. An expert of the case is speaking out. In an interview with the Hollywood Reporter following the September 19th release of the series, Robert Rand set the record straight on the differences between the show and reality. As the author of 2018's The Menendez Brothers book, Rand said there were several falsities in the show. Say, I don't believe that Erik and Lyle Menendez were ever lovers. I think that is a fantasy that was in the mind of Dominic Dunn, the reporter in the series portrayed by Nathan Lane. Well, Dominic Dunn was giving me full-on Queen. Or maybe was that the way that Nathan Lane was playing the part? And yeah, I'm not saying it just because Nathan is openly gay in real life. I have to look into Dominic Dunn. Well, didn't his daughter get unalive? Isn't his daughter was in the Poltergeist movie, Dominique? And she was unalive by her boyfriend. So he also said that rumors were going around the trial that maybe there was some sort of weird relationship between Erik and Lyle themselves. But I believe the only physical contact they might have had is what Lyle testified, that when Lyle was 8, he took Erik out in the woods and played with him with a toothbrush, which is what their father had done with him. He continued, I certainly wouldn't call that a sexual relationship of any sort. It's a response to trauma. Well, sir, I don't think you should speak on something that has to do with abuse because here's the thing. Um, hurt people. Abuse people abuse others. And do I absolutely believe that there could have been some situation regarding, some sort of abuse? Possibly. Now, when one of the brothers is abused, and then, as a sibling, you probably would go around and hurt them in some sort of way. And when you're saying that they went in the woods and was doing some stuff, I do believe that there's some things that may have transpired. Wouldn't call it necessarily a relationship, but there's some sort of abuse and molestation, that sort of thing there. Because it's like when that is a learned behavior. When your father is doing it, it's like, oh, I'm showing love to you. This is how I show love to you when I'm abusing you in other ways, not realizing that that is a form of abuse. So now you're passing that down to your sibling because you're working out, as the guy said, some sort of trauma. So do I believe there was some sort of incestuous thing that was going on? Yes, I do believe that may have partaken. But the way that it's shot on the show, where it feels very much like watching pornography, where in the gay community, let's talk about it, there is this incest type of vibe that goes on in a lot of the sexcapades in our community, where that has been brought up. When we talked about Austin Wolf, the fact that this daddy son type thing, where older man under this barely legal type of, pleasure that a lot of our community gets out of it. That's a thing. Also, this incest situation. Like I've even seen videos of real life twins partaking in sleeping with each other, and they make a whole ton of money doing that and bringing other people into it, other guys. I think other girls as well, but they be sleeping with each other. This is a thing. And we should talk about it. But let's not brush it all in one thing. So who knows if maybe they had some type of trauma similar to the Menendez brother, because I don't understand how you a sibling and y'all doing that. Whether you identical twins or fraternal or just regular brothers or sisters. But there's a market for it, apparently. So I do believe that there was some sort of thing. I'm not saying that they were just like y'all trying to paint them like they were lovers. But there's two sequences that, like, in episode 2, you basically see Erik and Lyle kissing, which kind of did make me uncomfortable, but I get it. Incest will make anybody uncomfortable. And so, but it also had me wondering, like, as I'm going there and I'm having to go on this journey, I'm like, is this a thing that possibly happened? In episode 6, their mother found them showering together. And in the trial, yes, the brothers did say that they never had a sexual relationship with one another, but you also have to realize this was the 90s. Just like when I called out the writing and was like, okay, so when Erik was in jail and he met that black guy that he was smitten by, and I believe the implication was there based off of what we saw, that they had a relationship. It could have been a protection thing, but also he was smitten by him, especially that shower scene that they had where they sitting there exposing each other and then they touching, the whole, y'all know the scene. If you haven't seen it, child, then you got to see it. I can't get too graphic. YouTube, like I said, I got to start curbing the mouth now. Look at me going by the standards. So now I got to get creative in some of the stuff I say. But anyway, so back in the day when the guy was like, oh, yeah, it's okay, you can be gay, whatever. I'm like, oh, what alternate universe? Because, yes, in the 90s, sir, I was there. I was a teenager growing up in the 90s. You couldn't be openly gay. You couldn't be comfortable in your skin. Comfortable in my skin, you could not be all of that. Sorry, you cannot be cozy with who you are. Because it was not cool to be gay. You had to perpetuate a masculine type of vibe of yourself. I mean, we still have those issues now, but way more people are comfortable in their skin and not having to worry about what other people think in certain places versus how it was in the 90s. So with that whole, I said, you're not going to put this Gen Z narrative on this shit because that's not true. You can't sit up here and say, oh, yeah, you could be who you want to be. It's okay to be who you are. I'm like, and you older than the people that you writing about. Or is he? Because Ryan Murphy, I think, is in his 60s. I would think like the Menendez brothers probably in their 60s too, because they were teenagers in the 80s. So, yeah, they had to be born like late 60s, early 70s, if I could remember. So, yeah, there's that. With that, now Erik has released a statement, so I want to get to that, then we'll get to what Ryan Murphy had to say. So, excuse me, Erik released a statement slamming the series after the premiere, which also posted on Lyle's social media, saying, I believe that we have moved beyond the lies and ruinous character portrayals of Lyle, creating a caricature of Lyle rooted in horrible and blatant lies rampant in the show. I can only believe that we were done so on purpose. It is with heavy heart to say I believe Ryan Murphy cannot be this naive and inaccurate about the facts of our lives so as to do this without bad intent. It is sad for me to know that Netflix's dishonest portrayal of the tragedies surrounding our crime have taken the painful truth several steps backward. Back through a time in an era where the prosecution built a narrative on the belief system that males would not aid and that males experience our trauma differently than women. Those awful lies have been disrupted and exposed by countless brave victims over the last 2 decades who have broken through their personal shame and bravely spoken out. So now Murphy shares his horrible narrative through vile and appalling counter portrayals of Lyle and me and disheartening slander. Is the truth not enough? Let the truth stand as the truth, he continued. How demoralizing is it to know that one man with power can undermine decades of progress and shedding light on childhood trauma? So that's what they said so far. And I have to say, you want to know something? The actors they had that portray Lyle and Erik, first of all, they can get it. The actor that plays Erik, first of all, he's openly gay. I heard that him and Kim Kardashian visited the Menendez brothers in jail. I guess he wanted to get a sense of who they were and all this other stuff, and it's cool that he did that. They said Kim Kardashian, like I said, also visited them. I don't know why, but I mean, are they the next ones that she's trying to get out of prison? But I heard they're in like some sort of a rehab type situation. So then Lyle, so I guess one of the things I'm gonna look at is that I'm definitely gonna check out this documentary and see how accurate that is versus the movie. Because here's the thing: the show and everything is not supposed to be a documentary. They're gonna fabricate or expand on things, for all sense and purposes of telling a story in a show. But the detail, it's all in the details. So if you really want to know the behind the scenes tea and stuff, I guess the only way we can look at it is let's look at the documentary and see what happens. So I'm definitely looking forward to catching that when that comes out. So now let's get into the next thing. So that's the shower scene between the brothers, chair. Okay, so Cooper Koch is his name, actually, the actor who plays Erik Menendez. So now Ryan Murphy is defending his new show, Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story, amid criticism for one of the brothers at the center of the infamous murder case. So he says, well, I want to show y'all the clip, but I'm gonna read it just in case, because if I show y'all the clip and it's from ET, and they decide to be like, oh no, you're saying some stuff in here and it's our property and you got to cut it out, then I'm gonna let them do that. But just in case, I'm gonna just read it and I'm gonna show y'all the clip. So this is like me protecting myself double time. He said, I think it's interesting that he issued a statement without having seen the show. This is what Murphy said in the interview with ET in response to Erik's criticism. It's really, really hard if it's your life to see your life up on screen. The thing that I find interesting that he doesn't mention in his quote is that if you watch the show, I would say 60 to 65% of our show in the scripts and in the film form center around the abuse and what they claim happened to them. And we do it very carefully and we give them their day in court and they talk openly about it. Well, some people feel that Ryan Murphy made it seem like the boys was basically out here where they wanted to get their hooks into the parents' fortune. So that's basically what all they cared about. And because I wanted to see if they basically said how much money the father was worth. But the father worked at a record label. And based off of some of the TV here, and I keep forgetting to bring this up, look, there's members of Menudo that allege that they were abused. That the father went and did to them what he did to his sons. So this was a story that came out, and this was in the Menudo documentary that this came out that I had seen. If y'all haven't seen that, definitely check that out. But anyway, let's get to this clip that I found over on the TikTok, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
The Menendez brothers have been disappointed in the representation. What do you say to their backlash?
I have many things to say about that. I think it's interesting that he's issued a statement without having seen the show. It's really, really hard if it's your life to see your life up on screen. The thing that I find interesting that he doesn't mention in his quote is if you watch the show, I would say 60 to 65% of our show in the scripts and in the film form center around the abuse and what they claim happened to them. And we do it very carefully and we give them their day in court and they talk openly about it. In this age where people can really talk about sexual abuse, talking about it and writing about all points of view can be controversial. It's a Rashomon kind of approach where there were 4 people involved in that. 2 of them are dead. What about the parents? We had an obligation as storytellers to also try and put in their perspective based on our research, which we did.
People have been outspoken about this romantic relationship between the brothers.
If you watch the show, if what the show is doing is presenting the points of view and theories from so many people who were involved in the case. Dominic Dunn wrote several articles talking about that theory. We are presenting his point of view just as we present Leslie Abramson's point of view. And we had an obligation to show all of that, and we did.
The Menendez brothers.
Okay, so there's that. And he's going that we did our research. We read all these different books. We, pulled whatever we could pull from the situation, and that's what it is. But look, the people was out here getting mad at Ryan Murphy. And let's get to them comments. And I saw that on the TikTok. So one person said the disrespect is wild. Another person said the lack of empathy. Another person said it's insane how confidently he speaks about writing a show about someone's life that he's never met. That shouldn't even be legal. Another person said all Ryan Murphy did was make the brothers come off as liars and manipulators. I'm appalled. Another person said Ryan Murphy is a clown. Look what happened to Evan Peters. Evan had a mental breakdown after Dahmer. Niecy Nash, I believe, is the only one who made sure his mental health was okay. Well, yeah, that's a lot to be trying to play a serial killer that was out here eating people. Like, how do you come back from that? And I've always liked Evan Peters. Then another person said this goes beyond controversial. It was distasteful and without question, extremely biased. Shame on him. And, you know, it all goes on. Everybody's like the audacity of it all. What they claim happened to him is absolutely crazy, and having the audacity to say, what about the parents? Yeah, that was the part that really grinded my gear. But what about the parents? First of all, the mother was a damn drunk, mentally abusive to her children. I'm talking about, well, I could have been a movie star, but I had to deal with y'all. Well, bitch, ain't nobody tell you to spread your legs and have them fucking kids. So it's their fault that they were born? Maybe you need to blame yourself and your husband for you laying it low and spreading it wide and pushing out two boys. And now you feeling like your career is a wash. And then you mad because you didn't know what you could do with yourself because you had your husband out here, Jose, cheating, having multiple girlfriends, molesting your children. You look the other way and you down, basically just downing your sorrows by self-medicating with booze and drugs, prescription drugs, walking around like a damn zombie. But it's your kid's fault? And it's like, yeah, to stop the drama, the trauma and that stuff at all, he took them both out. The mother probably would have just went along, she was just going along to get along, which I guess is what you did in them times. When it's like when you get married because you need the man to take care of you. That's not something you want to do, but people got to remember what the times were. And then, yeah, because this man has money, power, and influence, the kids aren't allowed to feel how they feel. So it's, oh, you wanted the father for their money. This is the same typical thing that we get into when it comes to people with money, where it's like, yeah, they can get away with whatever because money and power. We look the other way in those situations. We don't protect those who don't have the ability to speak out and things. The same thing was talking about Diddy. Same thing we talk about many of celebrities. We have money and power, how far they can get away with just doing whatever they want to people who have less than them, who aren't in a position of privilege like they are, and have the power and whatever to go against, David to go against Goliath, a titan who works in a lot of those places with that money, power, and influence. So these are the things that people need to look into. So do I believe all the things? I believe that these kids was abused. I don't think that it was all for the money or them getting out of the will. I mean, it looked bad afterwards because they went a little ham with spending up all the money and stuff. And like fools, they went to that damn attorney and was spilling tea on tape. They could have got away with it. Not that I'm encouraging getting away with murder, but they could have got away with it if they didn't go out and, start spilling tea to that shiesty damn therapist. And then that crazy broad who he was sleeping with was his damn client, one of his patients. He's sleeping with her, and he's sitting there like, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave my wife, and she believing it. And being a scorned woman, she runs to the police and be like, well, the doctor has evidence that the boys is confessing, which of course started that whole battle of patient-client privilege, or doctor-patient privilege, whatever you want to call it, confidentiality. So, look, this ain't the first time that people have gone in on Ryan Murphy, where he basically goes around and starts bastardizing people's, things that has to do with real life characters. That's like what I said about American Horror Story. What was it, 1984? I hated the fact that when he brings real life characters into stuff, Richard Ramirez, he brought him up in that story and started bringing him in. I'm like, what the hell has Richard Ramirez got to do with this Friday the 13th ripoff you trying to create? Or a lot of times when he tries to bring fantasy into reality and all this other, it's like, no, I'm not just suspending my disbelief with this foolishness. And now I'm hearing with this grotesquerie show, now he talking about he want to incorporate Travis Kelce in more of his shows. Well, if Travis Kelce can't act like, if he acts more like Kim Kardashian versus Niecy Nash, no, we don't want him in no damn movies or no TV shows. But here he go with his stunt casting and always pulling stunts. So should we start looking at Ryan Murphy like we look at Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels, another damn powerful stunt queen out here making a bunch of stupid stuff, and we just sit and eat it up? But I guess it's more important to get us out here just talking, right? So I know it's a lot, but I had to break it on down. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all watching this series, and what are your overall thoughts on it? Also, are y'all going to be checking out this Menendez brothers documentary that's going to appear on Netflix October 7th? I think I'll check out the Menendez brothers documentary. I definitely want to check that out and see if we learn anything different than the salaciousness we got from this 9-part series. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Yeah, speaking of comments, we got a lot, yeah. Let's get to them. Oh, you said the guy that was recently arrested for trying to shoot Trump. His son just got arrested. Lord Jesus, a mess. I don't believe it was a fantasy. And what the hell was Kim Kardashian doing with them? Is she trying to be child? Can you imagine? I was like, why is she over trying to jump into stuff? She trying to be. I told her she's trying to be the damn Harriet Tubman of She's trying to be the Harriet Tubman of the judicial system. So Loud did an interview with 48 Hours recently. Erik did an interview with a show on A&E. Yeah, I got to check that out. Like I told you last night, when kids are abused, sexual or otherwise, they have a hard time trusting people. They are afraid of not being believed. Absolutely, because what people seem to fail to realize is that, yeah, when people come out and they say that they're victims of abuse, you have to deal with the overall homophobia that comes from the police department when you file these charges. A lot of times they don't want to believe that boys could be abused. Oh, no, that's a girl thing and all this other stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know if y'all seen this. This is similar to, like, of course, when they talk about like same-sex DV, when, if you're a couple, and a lot of that happens, and a lot of it goes underreported because a lot of them don't want to go to the police because the police laughs. One prime example, there's an adult film star, and he's also a go-go dancer. He does like the hot dog parties with Mario Diaz. His name is Zaddy, Go-Go Daddy. Like, y'all probably know him if you've seen him on social media. He just did an interview. First of all, shout out to Matt Cullen, who just did an interview with the hot dog party. Because look, let me tell you, just like I knew a lot of the partiers and the I was gonna say, why am I thinking politicians, promoters? I've been aware of Mario Diaz back when he created the Cock Party in New York. Now he's out in LA doing his own thing. He's like the king of the nightlife. So he's definitely a fascinating character. And a fascinating person, one of the nicest people too. So anyway, he was interviewed recently by Matt Cullen, and he was talking about his party and like, all the things that he does, but he just comes up with stupid stuff. He's like, it's all about, let's just have fun. Let's be in the moment. And I feel like people are missing that. But Daddy was telling a story about how he was in a relationship with someone, this big bodybuilder type or whatever, and how he was in a physically abusive relationship with him, how he just, for no reason, just started beating him up. He had a broken nose, all this other stuff. He went to the cops. The cops was laughing. And they felt like there was some homophobic undertones under it, which is why a lot of times our community doesn't come forward. It's the same thing with this whole thing about kids being abused. A lot of times it goes underreported. These damn child protective services thing. A lot of y'all are a damn joke. They don't have a lot of these, what do you call it? A lot of these caseworkers, they're overworked, they're underpaid, they're overwhelmed, and this system is just a hot ass mess. And so it's unfortunate. A lot of these kids go through so much abuse. Some of them don't make it out alive, and those who do, they got to deal with a lifetime of trauma and self-medication and all kinds of other craziness. So I do agree when you say that a lot of times these kids are abused. They don't come forward and they don't trust people because the outcome. And so Felix is like, when it happened to me with a guy in my dad's apartment complex, the cops did get involved but didn't do anything to the guy. And so he said you went to go live with your mother. And it said it was the daughter who was unalive. Yeah. Because I said, I remember that story Dominique Dunn. I said most pedos are married men with kids of their own. Exactly. And sometimes you wonder, what are they doing to their own children? And also my dad hit me for years and they didn't do anything to him. Lala's 56, Erik is 53. Okay, so they're in their 50s. But I think, first of all, Ryan Murphy looks, he probably gives older. Hold on, let me look and see how old this man is. I think he in his 60s. How old is Ryan? Not Ryan World. Who's that? Murphy. Not Ryan Reynolds. Murphy. um, okay. Ryan Murphy, the producer. Oh, so Ryan Murphy was born in November 9th, 1965, which makes him 58. So they're in the same age bracket. Is at 56, 53. So he's literally 2 years older than Lyle. So yeah, they're in the same age range. So if anybody should know what it was like growing up as a homosexual in them age in that time, it would be him. Trump advanced. Good for them. Good for the ad. But then you just had, I see that video, I mean, not video, I see that photo of JD Vance talking about egg prices is down, is up, when it's actually down. And he's standing in the aisle with the eggs that would be a little bit expensive. Because there's certain eggs that I buy, like I like the large ones, I get the brown ones. Yeah, they're gonna cost, they're a little more costly. So it's like, how you sitting, like, y'all don't be checking the stuff that y'all be doing. Like, y'all a lot of people and think like we just dumb. Like we don't got the thing on the phone. We can zoom in and look at the prices on things. Like, are you stupid? Don't even answer that because we know they are. But it's good for them. We can add that to the rest of the charges. It's a laundry list. I do think Erik and Lyle might get a new trial. There are several lawyers and people reviewing the evidence. And that's why I said, too, I feel like, you know what? I wish I would have brought this up during the thing. That was one of the good outcomes that I hope about this story is the fact that with Ryan Murphy exposing this case and making it a thing, I know some people were saying also they don't understand how season 1 was about Jeffrey Dahmer, and season 3 is about to be about Ed Gein. What the hell? Where the hell does the Menendez brothers fit in between? Because if you're talking about serial killers, they weren't really serial killers. They only killed their parents. So where do they fit in this thing? But I feel like what this whole monsters thing is the whole narrative is about high profile American crimes or whatever. So maybe that's what Ryan's angle is. But then you have American Crime Story, which is with Aaron Hernandez, which I have not watched yet. But first of all, the actor they have playing Aaron Hernandez, boy, that boy could sit on my damn face. I'm like, who is that? He's a cutie. But I'm like, I need to check that out when I can get around to it. And it's funny, nobody is talking about this Aaron Hernandez thing. Probably because we've been enamored with so many shows. Like Agatha All Along just came out. We got The Penguin, which is literally the highest rated series ever, comic book series ever. It's a huge hit. So I know that Colin Farrell, you out here talking about you don't want to come back for season 2 because of the prosthetics, whatever the case is, sir. You about to get an Emmy. So I think you will be wanting to come back for a season 2. And you know they're gonna do you like they did Joaquin Phoenix with the Joker. They're gonna back up that Brinks truck. So I can see him coming back. And I feel like this opens the Pandora's box and the floodgates for other potential characters from the Gotham universe to get their own spinoffs and play within that Gotham City world. Because I feel like that's what that Penguin is doing what Gotham wishes it could do. The problem was Gotham was on Fox, so it wasn't gonna work because you have limitations when you want a network TV show. Now, before we get to the rest of the stuff, I will say this. There's another show that came out this week that I'm like, oh my God, this show was good. And the twist, I gagged. Are y'all watching the new Matlock with Kathy Bates? That is a good show. Now, normally I don't watch a lot of procedural type network shows because I'll be so busy caught up on streaming and cable and all this other stuff. But the new Matlock with Kathy Bates, if y'all have not seen this show yet, check it out. I gagged when I saw that twist. I'm like, wait, now this is how you do a reimagining of an original series. They got it right. I just hope that y'all can continue to stay on the right path with this show. And I heard it did relatively well in the ratings. So I definitely think this show's got legs. Like it's giving me very much like I could see it lasting about as long as The Good Wife. Like that long. Like good 6, 7, 8 seasons. So it's like, yeah, a guy from the Noodle spoke out and said his dad. Yep. And that's why I said, I believe, I remember I heard that story. It was that the father also EP'd, and his studio did Fright Night Part 2 because of his murder. The movie was canceled in the US and only issued internationally where the countries weren't affected. I'm trying to remember if I ever saw, I don't think I've ever seen Fright Night Part 2. From my understanding, Lionsgate refused to release it due to not being exploitive. Okay, well, that's their decision, I guess. I will be honest, growing up with the crime, our parents and my people around me believed they weren't abused, but Gen Z is very different. It's like Gen X, Gen Z, yeah, we were all raised different. But I feel like now, because it is something that we could talk about, I do feel like the things are changing and people are believing them. That there was some abuse that was going on. That they didn't just wake up one morning. It was like, you know what? We're just gonna go buy shotguns and kill our parents. Like, I don't think that's what that they had on their mind. All for some damn money. Because I believe them because of things I went through growing up. I had no one to talk to when it happened to me, and I got depressed and became the S word. Y'all can read that. I didn't have anyone to talk to. I was having, oh, yeah, so it's like, it's just crazy how when people go through those crazy things and parents who are supposed to be your protectors are out here just inflicting abuse on their children. I think Monsters is about what you said, high profile murders. The Jeffrey Dahmer story was really dark, and Ed Gein will be too. I thought season 2 was going to be about John Wayne Gacy. I did too. Maybe I think, was there ever a story that was going to be the overall, that was going to be the next one? Or they just, I think at the last minute, just like, oh no, let's go and let's do this whole thing. But as we said before, I do hope that what happens is that they look into this and they realize, you know what, let's open up this case. Let's look at some things and those biases that we went by because people have to realize the times people go and take on things based on the times in which we live. So if the times in the 90s is, yes, different than they are now, because it's 30 plus years later, you can look at a case differently than you did from back in the day. So I'm hoping that's what happens with them and they get a new trial and they don't, they'll get out of the situation they're in. Okay, so now let's move on to this topic and let's talk about Chester Bennington's mother, who said that she feels betrayed by Mike Shinoda. Her name is Susan Eubanks, by the way. And she recently did an interview where she said she feels betrayed by Linkin Park's new chapter in bringing a new singer into the fold, and that singer would be Emily Armstrong. Now, as I said before, I don't mind the fact that they brought in a female singer because I feel like that's a different take on the group and their music and all this other stuff. But with all the stuff coming out about Emily Armstrong, it is, I will admit, rubbing me the wrong way, especially when it comes to the fact that she's a Scientologist and all the things that goes on behind the scenes with Scientology, including human trafficking, allegedly, and abuse, and all kinds of crazy things that goes on behind the scenes, especially with the recent Danny Masterson case, who I forgot to mention earlier. That's the second strike for Ashton Kutcher because he was seen at that Diddy party and hanging out with Diddy. But then you also, under the same breath, you and Mila was out here defending, Danny Masterson, and even wrote a letter to the judge. So after Chester Bennington's son criticized Linkin Park for bringing in Emily Armstrong as the new vocalist, the late singer's mother has spoken out against the band, claiming that she feels betrayed, that they're trying very hard to erase the past. I should also let y'all know, if y'all haven't heard, I believe last week, Chester Bennington's son, Jamie, he spells it like Jaime, but maybe we should start calling him Jaime, like I call Jennifer Hennifer. So Jaime, it's basically Jamie in Espanol. So Jaime recently appeared on that Growing Up in Scientology YouTube channel, and he did an interview with the guy who was a former Scientologist, and they started speaking out about it. If you have a chance, I think it's like a 2-hour interview. If you have an opportunity, definitely check that interview out. It was relatively interesting. So I wanted to put that out there. So, in an interview with Rolling Stone, Bennington's mother, Susan Eubanks, explained that the band had promised to notify her if there were any plans to continue as a group. She said, I feel betrayed. They told me if they were ever going to do something, they would let me know. They didn't let me know, and they probably knew that I wasn't going to be very happy. I'm very upset about it. Now, Eubanks explained that she bumped into Linkin Park members Mike Shinoda and Joe Hahn over the years, but neither mentioned a reunion. She said that at one point, Shinoda did reach out when they were going to release new songs that had Bennington's vocals, but that she was blindsided by the announcement of Armstrong joining the group. I found out about Emily Armstrong joining the band on Google. When I go to Google to look for something, the first thing that pops up is Linkin Park. And I saw the whole thing of we have an announcement. The whole week they were at the top if you go enter anything into Google. She said that she turned on the group's live stream performance when they announced Armstrong as Bennington's replacement earlier this month, not on purpose. I thought her singing, I don't even remember what it was that she was singing because I didn't want to hear it. It was just a moment, but it was her. I'm going to just say it, screeching her way through a very high note, and I go out there, and I got out of there as fast as I could. So, you know what? No shade, but I have to agree. She was screeching in certain parts of that damn performance. She kind of was. And it's like I said before, I don't mind the fact that they brought in a female singer because here's the thing. As much as I understand what Susan is going through in regards of her son not being a part of the group, I mean, he did take his own life, dealing with a lot of childhood traumas and things of that nature. It's funny how this has been the overall theme today about abuse, childhood trauma, that sort of thing, and how he was essayed as a kid and abused as a kid and incorporated a lot of those demons that he was fighting into his music. Unfortunately, the demons won, and he's no longer in the union anymore. But on one hand, I understand with Linkin Park. They created a legacy with the group. They created a lot of songs. Chester was not the sole member of Linkin Park. So as a band, I understand that the show must go on. There have been many of bands that have been who have lost members via they quit, they passed away, they unalived themselves, whatever the case is. And the bands have gone on. And there have been some where they said, like, those bands, the newer reiteration of them sounds better than what was there before. So, the show must go on at the end of the day. I understand that. But I do agree with Susan was saying, like, you know what? The way they went about it was a little shady. Especially when you hear from some people where it was like, well, y'all made it seem like y'all just discovered this girl a couple of months ago. She and Mike Shinoda allegedly have been friends for years. So it was always in the pocket of him possibly bringing her in. Now, she did spill some tea in regards of saying that Mike Shinoda would berate Chester at times and make him feel a certain kind of way and would put him down and was being emotionally abusive. Because she said she recalled that Shinoda once told Bennington that Linkin Park songs would sound better with a female vocalist, and that Bennington told her that if he were to leave the group, they would follow through on hiring a woman to sing in the band. Saying, I don't think that there's anybody in the world that has the same voice. And when I heard that, I was just so repelled that no, they're trying to do exactly what Chester did, but they're not succeeding at it. Her comments regarding Linkin Park follow mixed reactions to Armstrong joining the band. Bennington's son criticized the decision to bring the dead Sarah front woman, stating that Shinoda had quietly erased my father's life and legacy in real time during International S-Word Prevention Month. Mars Volta singer Cedric Bixler Zavala and his wife Christy Carnell Bixler brought up Armstrong's support for Danny Masterson during his R-Word trial. Now, Linkin Park announced the next chapter in its career on September 5th, revealing Armstrong had and his singer, they're coming out with a new album that's called From Zero. The band made their public debut at LA's Forum a week later, giving fans a first-hand look at the lineup. I don't necessarily know how the world tour has been doing because I really haven't heard anything in regards to the world tour. So for those of you who have actually seen the concerts, who've actually paid a ticket to see them at their individual world tour, because it's like a one-off. They do one in South Korea, they're doing one in LA, they do one in New York, they're doing one in France or Italy and London and, all the little one-offs in different spots. And I think they're going to do a proper world tour in 2025. But I am curious in regards of how have the band been doing, and if people been liking the new music or whatever. Like me, I didn't, and when I wasn't privy to all the details about her being a part of Scientology, I was like, she's not that bad. I just feel like she needs to get in her own thing and figure out like how she can make these songs her own if she's gonna come in and sing it. The one thing I will say is when it comes to um Adam Lambert, when he's a part of Queen, he's not trying to recreate what Freddie Mercury did. He's coming and singing the songs the way they need to be sung and putting his own interpretation into the singing. The same thing needs to happen because it don't seem like she's going anywhere. Linkin Park's going to continue to do what they do. They already got her saying her vocals on all the new Linkin Park stuff, and so she's clearly not going to go anywhere because that's going to be a lot for them to have to take her vocals off, find a new female singer if they're going to get into the Scientology stuff, and then move on from there. So it is what it is. It's just everything's locked in. She's a member of the band. It is what it is. Unfortunately, now the thing with us is, are we going to sit by and just deal with it and support the music when From Zero comes out, or you're gonna be one of those that's just like, you know what, it's great that you're coming out with your music and you're doing whatever, but we're moving on. We will just stick to the old songs with Chester's voice on it, but we just don't care for the new stuff. We don't care for the new direction, and that's fine. You don't have to support it, but I'll sit and I'll listen to Hyper Theory and Meteora, and I'll stick to all those albums and One More Light. I'll stick to that. I don't care about From Zero. And that's perfectly fine if that's what you want to do. So I totally understand. But I will say that, you know what? I'm sorry, Miss Mamas. But you know what? In this business, unfortunately, the show must go on. Like there's other members of the band and they've got to eat. They've got to be able to do other things. Maybe what Maybe what Mike should have done was stick to like continue with Fort Minor, but I don't think Fort Minor was as big as Linkin Park. Linkin Park is where the coin is. That's where the money resides. So I can see why he's like, we got to revive everything and we got to move on with that because that's the bread and butter. And maybe if they're bound by a Warner Brothers contract, they probably owe more music through that contract. So who knows whatever their deal is, and they had to figure out, okay, so where do we go with the next thing? But like I said, it's up to us if we want to sit and support the music and all this other stuff. But they said that whatever controversies has been attendant with this all important new addition, and there have been multiple headlines that make it clear not everyone is on board with her. When it comes to the actual matter of the music, you would be hard pressed to find a soul in the galvanized forum crowd that would have told her that this risky gamble wasn't paying off. So clearly there's people out here who are liking it. There's people who are always going to have their loyalty to Chester, and that's perfectly fine, like I said before. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think? Are you here for what Chester's mother has to say, and her son, her grandson as well? That I love how they're going hard for their father and they're airing their grievances and they're saying that, you know what, Mike is shady in regards to this whole situation. But like I said, devil's advocate, the show must go on. And there's other members of the band who have to be able to survive and eat and take care of their families and all this other stuff. And they want to continue to be out here supporting the music. And we've seen it happen over the years. There's been many bands who have taken this position that when you lose a lead singer, the show must go on. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see when From Zero comes out if the overall assessment is people have moved on and they're here for this new rejuvification of Linkin Park. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now, let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Jackson. So we already spoke about, and I had people there was a lot of differences of opinion that was going in. There's a lot of people out here, give Janet grace. She didn't mean anything by it. She's not political. And I'm like, she's not, because she did a whole album called Rhythm Nation 1814. And last I checked, there's a lot of politics in them songs. It deals with racism. It deals with prejudice. It deals, even Velvet Rope deals with homophobia. She's pro LGBT in a lot of the subjects and talk about her discovering, just what is it? Going through bisexuality and things. I think that was all for sure. I don't think she was really out here getting her coochie ate. I mean, then again, you never know with some of these people. They do experiment for a moment and they'll probably put that up in there. But she talked about all of that, changing some of the words, on, one of the songs I think she did on Velvet Rope, which is a Rod Stewart record, I believe, and changed the words. Was like, and I love you, girl, and everything's gonna be all right. And people was thinking, oh, is Janet coming out? And Janet talking about she's messing with women. That was a big controversy back in the 90s. This is how things work, because nobody really went in and let have in regards to this type of subject matter. So anybody that would change a little lyric here and there or would say certain things, it was the most controversial thing. Now you can talk about, you can get all graphic and stuff, and people don't bat an eye. So Janet basically, came out and said the thing about Kamala Harris not being black. There are people that believe that oh, she's not black. Oh, she changes her race every 5 minutes. I don't know where y'all heard that from. Y'all need to take them Trump talking points and put that where? Way back there, because I've never heard Kamala Harris come out and change her ethnicity or her race or whatever, because people want to be correct. Well, Jamaica is not an ethnicity. Yeah. That's what I got to say about that. Like, fucking relax. People get on my goddamn nerves when they want to sit and nitpick over every goddamn little thing. It's whatever. Y'all know what the hell people mean in regards to this. I don't need a whole goddamn education recitation of a situation. Relax. So, after she came out and said all of this mess in that Guardian interview, there was a man who claimed to be a former manager of hers and said that basically he was fired by the pop star and her psychotic, radicalized brother, Randy, who I truly believe is brainwashing her, due to disagreements after an article published over the weekend in The Guardian revealed that she said that Kamala Harris is not black. So Mo El-Masri's remarks come after the reps for the 58-year-old songstress, well, you need to call her a whisperer because she don't sing, and I gotta put 8 microphones up her ass to hear what she's saying. Is it really talking? I said, if I had to stick 8 microphones up her ass to hear her speak, does that mean that she's talking? Because that's what it damn near sounds. It's like, miss, come on now. Nobody talks that damn low. She be getting on my damn nerves with that, all of them with that high-ass voice they got. But anyway, let me relax. Because I'm just, like, stuff like this irritates me. Now, I will say that I'm here for anybody who, you know what, we all make mistakes. We're human. We all say some things that we get misinformed on things. There have been many times on this show that, I won't say many times, but there's been times where I've gotten the wrong information and I come on and I apologize and I correct it, because that's what you do when you make a mistake. The same thing when we was talking about the whole thing with Diddy in that book that's supposed to be a memoir from Kim Porter. I said that there's been stories going back and forth. Some people saying it's made up. Some people say it's not. Come to find out the book is not real. It's not true. Well, not real. It is real. Physically, it exists, but it's not true. And it said it is made up. Coming from Albie Shore. That's what he's saying. So, because they asserted him in the conversation. So he's like, Maury, he went to that, took that test with Maury and determined it was a lie. It was all a lie. So, Janet just, she's standing 10 toes down in what she said. But being of the fact that, she did grow up Jehovah's Witness, they don't vote any damn way. So I don't think she's going to be out here voting. And, over the years with her saying all the things that she, just being around the type of men that she's been around with, I'm not surprised that she would come to say something that's stupid. But I guess it would be a shock, because when you've come out with an album called Rhythm Nation 1814 and you sitting out here talking about social injustice and, the overall abuse of people around the world, and you showing empathy, people believe that, that this is a shock. But then again, was she all putting on wares? Because some people would think like, oh, maybe she was trying to be the female Michael Jackson. Because remember, Michael Jackson was the one that started that whole, speaking about social injustice. And then here come his sister doing the same thing. So was it all a lie? So he basically, told Variety that El-Masri released a statement on Jackson's behalf with no authorization, saying Janet Jackson fired me due to disagreements between me, her brother, and manager Randy Jackson after her meeting with The Guardian and her unbalanced statements. This is what he told the Daily Beast in an email. That's all I can say. El-Masri said that he couldn't receive phone calls due to the large number of calls he had incoming on the issue, adding all support to Kamala Harris. Reps for Jackson told TMZ on Sunday that El-Masri had absolutely no connection to the Control artist. So I don't know if y'all see what he looked like, but let's put him up. Why he look like Renee Elizondo? They like, look, she got a type that she like being around. He cute though. Now, according to the outlet, a person identifying themselves as El-Masri apparently inaccurately told BuzzFeed that he was the singer's rep in the mea culpa for the statements about the vice president. The statement from El-Masri read, Janet Jackson would like to clarify her statements. She recognizes that her statements regarding Vice President Kamala Harris' racial identity were based on misinformation. Janet respects Harris's dual heritage as both Black and Indian and apologizes to any confusion caused. She values the diversity Harris represents and understands the importance of celebrating that in today's society. Janet remains committed to promoting unity and understanding. And what I don't understand, since we're talking about unity and understanding, all I need from you is understanding. But what I don't understand about this is the fact that, sis, your whole family like being down with the swirl. But then you want to sit and question her racial identity. And first of all, Issa, your son, ain't even Black. So you would think that she would understand. When you look at Michael kids, they all look like they from the Clear People Club. They don't even look like Michael. They ain't got Michael nose, his old nose, because we all know, I don't care how much damn surgery y'all get. Y'all take a jackhammer to your damn nose to get that white woman nose. The kids will come out with the nose the size like wider than KRS-Ones. So how you gonna sit up out here and talk about her identity, her racial identity, but your whole family look whiter than this man? Y'all, the whole family look like this man in this picture, hair and all, and the features. Y'all like making sure y'all kids got exotic features. And also, let's not forget when you had one brother, wife left the one brother for the other. What was it? Tito wife left him for Jermaine, nasty ass. Had kids with the both of them. So it also said the IMDb bio for El-Masri says that he's an Egyptian filmmaker who runs 24 East Agency and Consultation Fire. It stated that El-Masri now works as a creative consultant for many global superstars, including Janet, Beyonce, Britney, and Selena Gomez. El-Masri's credits on the website include EPs. He's an executive producer on Janet Jackson's Family First. That was the documentary that we saw that came out on TV. I forget what channel was it. Was it A&E or one of them damn channels? As well as uncredited roles as creative director on 2019's Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, and trainee assistant director on 2019's John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Now, Jackson sent shockwaves to social media when she confessed her controversial views about the Democratic 2024 presidential nominee to The Guardian. So, yeah, she was running around talking about how, oh, you know what they said? You know what they said? That she's not Black. That's what I heard. She's not a Black woman. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white. And you know they had to shove that damn tape recorder up her ass. Like, bitch, what you saying? So, as much as I love Janet, I know y'all probably be like, really? Because you really showing it in this thing. I'm sorry, but I do not believe anybody. I believe anybody is, approachable. If you say some stupidness, you deserve to be dragged. If Madonna was to take her ass on the line and say this mess about Kamala Harris, you don't think I'm going to drag her in these comments too? She going to get it just as much as Janet. So don't think that this is just some old bias thing or the fact that, oh, well, yeah, she deserves grace. She deserves this. She deserves that. Child, first of all, she got enough money. She got enough influence. She got enough power. And Google is free. She could have looked the information up. Kamala didn't just become the vice president yesterday. She been the vice president for 4 years. And then on top of that, yeah, she just became the presidential nominee a couple of months ago. But still, this is not new news. This is not something that just came out in a couple of days. Trump been talking about this mess for a while now. And then trying to find anything he can grab to go against her ass because he's losing in the polls politically. Anytime he opens his mouth, he just says whatever. And then she got a crazy ass brother, her manager, who probably has Fox News and News Nation, all these other, crazy radicalists, probably on 24/7, and her being around the house, she's hearing all this. So of course, all this is being embedded in her brain based off of conversations she's hearing. Her brother probably saying stuff. So I don't put nothing past this. With Brandy being her manager and them two being close, because Michael, and you know what, the best thing about Michael is that he ain't here to see all this foolishness going between his family. And then, there's that. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts on this whole thing. I just realized, let me know in the comments, but let's get to the Whoopi thing, because I forgot to bring that up. I had the Whoopi headline and I forgot to bring up because I wanted to bring up the thing about the other guy that was working behind the scenes with her that claimed that he works with Janet. So now Whoopi, of course, took her bias behind to The View, because she loves defending her famous celebrity friends, and try to take up for Janet. I will play y'all the clip, but I'm not going there with that. First of all, I feel like because it's ABC, they'll probably come at me with a strike. I'll get demonetized, and then I gotta sit here and edit that clip out. And I don't feel like doing that right now. I'm feeling a little lazy. I don't want to sit up here and do no damn edits. So she offered a mea culpa to her friend Janet Jackson after the pop icon stirred controversy in her recent remarks on Vice President Kamala Harris. So the ladies of The View are famous, for mixing it up and disagreeing on various topics, which is what you do when you have people with opinions. Barbara Walters used to start out the show, women with different opinions, different points of view, maybe a little too different. Remember when she used to say that when The View used to come on back in the day? So Anna Navarro said what she did was spread misinformation. And this is what she said, echoing Donald Trump's assertion that the Democratic presidential nominee may not be Black. The Republican nominee made the comment that Harris became Black after she'd also talked about her Indian heritage. While her mother is South Asian, her father is Jamaican, making her biracial. Saying, I think it's very irresponsible when you have a platform the way Janet Jackson does to use that platform carelessly to spread misinformation based on a racist allegation by Donald Trump. This is what Navarro continued. This led to a wider discussion about mis and disinformation as one of the biggest problems the modern world faces. Now, Sunny Hostin, who took the time, she always taking her time when she talk, on Monday's show to remind her co-host that, like Harris, she is also multiracial, agreed that Harris's approach to the whole race issue, which has been to essentially ignore it. As for Jackson's take on it, she added, I don't know if it comes from misinformation. I don't know if it comes from a lack of information, but all I know is that I don't want to give it this much air. Well, I don't know why you don't, because I feel like regardless of what people say on a thing, I feel like it's your due diligence to speak out on it. You going in and criticizing, I was going to say critiquing, but criticizing someone for spreading misinformation doesn't make you less of a fan of them. So when I hear people out here saying, oh, well, Janet's canceled. Say what? No. How was she canceled? Because she said something dumb? Because she spread misinformation? She's human at the end of the day. So I will give her that. However, you have the opportunity, now that you know that you are incorrect in what you said, you need to go and issue an apology. Unless, like I said, somebody who came out with an album called Control doesn't have that much control over her career. Her brother is the one that's going to be like, as the manager, oh no, you're not going to go and apologize. You're going to leave it alone. It'll go away eventually. No, you need to get ahead of this. Because just like we out here dragging Justin Timberlake for doing what he did to you, you're going to have people that's going to be reminding you of the stupidity that came out of your mouth. You know how the internet is. They love to troll in that way. This the same broad that said that Kamala Harris isn't Black. But then again, knowing her, she ain't going to vote because she's a Jehovah's Witness. You know, they don't believe in all that stuff. They believe in them tax cuts, though, on their churches. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Or they Kingdom Hall, if they want to call it that foolishness. So now, Alyssa Farrah Griffin basically said this. She gave her a little grace and talked about the prevalence of information silos that people live in. Yeah, you acting like they live in like this a silo. That's like There was actually a show on Apple TV called Silos. It's like, yeah, you're basically saying she lives in a damn bubble. And the fact that social media algorithms are feeding users like information, and most people admitting to get most of their news on these curated platforms. Well, here's the thing. I'm intelligent to know that, like, I'm not just going to get my information from one place. There are some people that only like to get their information from Fox News, just like there's only some people that like to get their information from MSNBC or The View. Me, I'm a well-rounded individual. I will listen to what the idiots over there at Fox News are saying. I will watch and see what they're saying over there at CNN and MSNBC. I also have a thing on my Instagram where I have allowed information about the whole Gaza situation, all that other stuff, pro-Palestine, all the other stuff that's coming in from there to go in and understand what's going on in that world. I'm not just radicalized in a way where it's like I'm only getting one source of information. The fact of that the internet is a wide spectrum and is a no man's land where you can get so much information. There's so many things that you can find out and look it up if you care to do so. So with me and this, there's no excuse. Now, before the panel can move on, you know Whoopi Goldberg had to give her opinion. She don't give her opinion on nothing else. But when it comes to her celebrity friends, you know she gonna weigh in. So she said she's not a political animal. She's a musician. Her life is doing this, and she's mourning her brother. And I'm going to stop her there. Because number one, when it comes to articles, and you should know this, they didn't just come out with this Guardian article a couple of days ago when her brother had died. Like, articles are done months before they come out. So this has nothing to do with the fact of her mourning her brother. Let's not use Tito as an excuse. Also, when you say someone is not a political animal, I'm calling cap on that as well, because when you have asserted yourself in a position to be political through your music, you are a political animal. Now, if you were just somebody like a Dula Pete, where it's like, oh, I don't want to assert my personal business in anything. I'm just gonna sing the songs, or Kylie Minogue. I'm just gonna sing the songs. I'm gonna give you. I want to just take your mind off of the craziness of the world. If that's the type of artist you are, then that's great. That's not the artist that Janet is. So for you to sit up here and say she's not a political animal, clearly you don't pay attention to her music. Clearly you're not a fan, or maybe you are a fan. You just ain't been paying attention because the evidence is there. The moderator also went on to note that she herself has been known to get it wrong in the past, especially due to the immediacy of what they do on The View. Sometimes people get it wrong and they're wrong. They make a mistake, they were wrong. It happens. Yeah, it does happen. That's why you have these fact checkers and these people that y'all have behind the scenes that's supposed to make sure that y'all get it right in regards of the information that y'all give, and not just giving y'all a bunch of damn cliff notes or chirping in your ear about whatever talking points that they want y'all to spew on television. So yeah, you can get it wrong and stuff, but like I said before, if you get it wrong, apologize. Anybody who says it doesn't happen to every one of us, multiracial or not, excuse me, we do it. So okay, a little grace for the girl. A little grace for the girl. I know some people's getting mad at her because she was saying a little grace for the girl. It's like, first of all, that lady is 58 years old. She ain't no damn girl. You understood what she meant. But yeah, it does happen. Sometimes we do step in poo. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's saying all that. But for you to just diminish it to just that because she's a celebrity, it's a BS. Because if anybody else that y'all had a problem with said some foolishness like that, y'all will go a little harder. So I feel like y'all should be fair. And like I said, she didn't clarify any of the stuff that she said. So yeah, Whoopi is correct. When we make mistakes, they deserve the grace to correct themselves and apologize. I do agree with that. However, Janet hasn't apologized for what she said. And as I've stated before when talking about this subject, she has a huge platform and across, and does have access to the correct information, especially when she's built her career on addressing the social injustices going on in the world. Or was that all in that because she wanted to be the female version of her brother? So I'm so sick and tired of Whoopi always defending her celebrity friends. Because remember, this is the same broad who defended Bill Cosby when them SA allegations came out. Come to find out they was true. And let's not also forget she defended Mel Gibson, who was another friend of hers, when we heard that audio tape of him disrespecting his girlfriend at the time, the Russian chick. So out of all the ladies who gave their opinion, I'm siding with Anna. And at Janet's big age, She should know better, spewing misinformation about Kamala's, ethnic background when she has been the VP for 4 years. She didn't just jump into politics yesterday. So we all have a responsibility as people to know what we're talking about. And yeah, not everybody is a political animal. I don't expect everybody to come out and give their opinion on things. I also feel like, because I saw this article, I don't know if it was an article or it was a YouTube video or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I saw it earlier. Because, when you get a lot of information, it's hard to remember where you get the information from. But there was a question I asked that, when did females artists become like this big proprietor of being a spokesperson for politics? Who said that? Not everybody said that women have to be the ones that come out. But when you put yourself in a position to be political, people expect you to be that. When you've seen people like Janet, when we've seen people like Lady Gaga who have taken political stances, when we've seen people like Taylor Swift take a stance politically, when we've seen who else? When we've seen Pink take a stance, when we've seen Madonna take a stance, you expect to hear that from a lot of them. Even Beyonce, when she says certain things, but now it's like this overall pressure that artists have, or these people like, well, when we go and hear Taylor Swift come out and endorse Kamala Harris or Beyonce, we've heard that in the past couple of weeks before Taylor Swift came out and gave her endorsement for Kamala Harris, which was when, there was a pivotal moment. After the debate is when she made her big announcement. Oh yeah, I'm voting for Kamala. She was smart in how she maneuvered that. But nobody says that you have to be, because they tried to do that with Usher on The View. When they asked him what his overall opinion about Kamala and is he going to support her and all this other stuff, that was joy with that. But not everybody is built for that. And if you're not built for that, there's no pressure. You don't have to come out. You don't have to do that. But when you put yourself in a position in your music and in other things, and yes, there are some things where art and politics collide. It does it in movies, it does it in music, it does it in painting, it does it in all different aspects of art. So when you have people that come out here, well, artists need to just shut up and do whatever. I don't know where the hell you've been, but for as long as I've been alive on this planet, that's always been the thing with a lot of artists. Even people before I was born, the Beatles took political stances. David Bowie took political stances. Who else? Who was that? The singer that Timothy Chalamet is about to play. That's a folk singer. Forgot his damn name. He's put politics and stuff in his music back in the 60s and the 50s and the 70s and stuff. The music was, well, not 50s necessarily, but the 60s and 70s, a lot of those artists were taking more of a political stance in their music. So I don't know why all of a sudden now y'all waking up today acting like this is some new news, because it's not. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all here for what the ladies of The View had to say in regards to Janet Jackson? And do you feel that she should be out here apologizing for the foolishness that came out of her damn mouth? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Now, speaking of comments, we have a whole lot of them, so let's get to it. Tonight's the Night, that's the name of the damn song, where she was, wasn't that a remake? I believe Tonight's the Night is a remake. It's from, it's a Rod Stewart song. And you said that's my favorite song, and then didn't change the lyrics, kept it, oh, because I love you, because everything's gonna be all right, and people started singing with it. Does that mean Janet is into women? I do think that album was a love letter to her gay fans. I love the Velvet Rope, but I don't love Janet right now. I'm disappointed. I love Janet's music, but girl, what Randy over there doing to your brain? The Velvet Rope anniversary is always going to have a bad taste in my mouth now, because it's on October 7th, and we all know what happened that day. I do think Randy is getting in her ear. Absolutely. And they said her son, yes, her son is half black because of her. And her baby daddy, now that he is Middle Eastern, and he does business in London, which is why Janet's living there. Listen, I always think of, not Soul Glow, because shout out to Coming to America, and they said, yeah, it was on A&E, her documentary. Trump is predicted to win North Carolina. Trash. The way you speak on Janet, I thought you didn't like her. See, no, I love Janet, but you know me, everybody's gonna get the stray. I grew up on Janet Jackson. I was near her to evolve her music and in them stage performances. But yeah, the child, you would think that the way I speak on a lot of people on here, I would be a hater, but no, is that it's an equal opportunity read when it comes to this show. It said Eve came out and said Janet saved her life in '07. And you know what? Shout out to Eve, because I know Eve's got a memoir or something or another that's coming out, and I know she's been promoting it a lot lately. And I have not had the time to watch all her interviews. Like, I had one saved on a thing with her and Hot 97. I don't care about the Breakfast Club, so I'm not watching them over there. I think all of them are idiots. Even though that, and no shade to that girl that's temporarily filling in for just dumbass hilarious. But no, I can't with the Breakfast Club, so I don't care what they got to say over there. But I'm gonna definitely check out her other interviews. Oh, you said you saw that yesterday. So I don't believe any of the news. I lived the Beverly Hills life. What news are you talking about? Are you talking about Janet Jackson? I mean, she said what she said. I had someone say to me on Instagram to stop watching CNN and learn to form my own opinions, and called me a clown. I'm like, thanks. I have a brain of my own. Absolutely. As you should. And so I had someone say to me on Instagram and start watching CNN. You can watch whatever the hell you want to watch and formulate your own opinion. I don't understand why people say you need to stop watching this or want to use woke left as a weapon or whatever. And that sort of thing. You can't put albums out like Rhythm Nation and Velvet Rope and not be political. Absolutely. And for people to say that, it's like, I got to remind you. You basically just answered your question. Do I interact with your audience? Clearly, this is the first time you watch this show, because I always interact with the audience. I do the story first, and then afterwards, I answer the questions. I read through the questions, and I interact. That is how I interact. Next question, please. As you said, I'm going to for a ride in my G-Wagon. Okay, well, deuces. Yeah, he reads comments after he finishes the story. I'm just irritated with that, because it's like, girl, don't try me. Did you see Chaperone didn't want to endorse? Yeah, because I did see that. I was going to talk about that, but I didn't have the full story in front of me, so I'll address it tomorrow. Because I know a lot of people's out here is mad, including Sasha Colby said, you can't be my drag daughter and agree and believe in this sort of thing. And basically, in so many words, feel like, oh, well, yeah, my life is on the line and these people want me unalived and all this other stuff. And it's like, so here we go again with this whole, like, I understand what you're saying, Sasha, but I feel like you're incorrect. And I agree with Chaperone and what she's saying. She's like, I'm not endorsing someone who basically just looks the other way and is funding a genocide. Even though Trump funded a genocide as well, they're both no different, birds of a feather. And that's why a lot of times they say, like, this Democratic Party is blue MAGA. So two sides of the same coin, lesser than two evils. This is the overall argument that we're hearing and seeing and all these other things. And they said, well, Chaperone, she's not endorsing her, but she also is not endorsing Trump either. And I feel like I get what everybody's saying. They're like, well, now all of a sudden everybody want to take a stance now because it's Trump and somebody else, when y'all should have been having these stances back in the day. But I guess now that more people are being informed, this is the direction they want to take. And it's like, I don't know if y'all should be playing with our government in this situation. When we get some more radical people, like especially on the Republican side, then y'all can go and talk about, oh, well, we want to change and we maybe want a third party candidate and we tired of these super PACs and all this other craziness. Maybe we can do that in the next campaign. But right now, it's like, I'm not trying to play around with having this heifer become president again, especially where we was dealing with the foolishness with him the first damn time. No, we don't need a nut running this damn country. Sorry. We already had him the first damn time. And so with all that being said, it's like, yeah, she has a right to feel how she feels. And the fact of there are certain people out here, whether you're a part of the LGBTQ community, whether you're Jewish, whether you're whatever, one's situation is not better than the other. And that's the way I feel like it's coming across with certain queer people who are going around saying, well, how could you be a lesbian and feel the way you feel? So I'm not allowed to have a difference between what the hell of me getting my box eaten by another woman got to do with my political stance. That has nothing to do with it. She's smart and she's paying attention and realizing that when you look at both sides of the situation, because that's what Sasha Colby got, you can't both sides of the situation. Why the fuck not? Because both sides ain't no damn different in a lot of ways. Yeah, we have the Democrats who sit up in here and talk about, oh yeah, we for the gay community, oh we do this, and we'll throw a little coin totter here, there, and everywhere. You know, they always do that when it comes to marginalized communities. Oh, well, y'all starting to complain? Oh, we'll throw a little something to you, a little crumb, so y'all can go the fuck away. Like, be on, bitch, be on. Like they do that, and then give the bare minimum. So that's basically what she's talking about. Well, I guess I don't have to do the article tomorrow because I'm doing it now. So yes, the Beatles and David Bowie were British, but yeah, they did talk a lot about political stuff in their stuff. And yes, Bob Dylan, thank you, because I was like, I don't know why I can remember his damn name, but I was like, Timothy Chalamet played him in the movie. Jane Fonda has been political, absolutely. And I just seen recently she was going door to door to people's houses to get them, I guess, to endorse Kamala Harris. Yes, he is. And so Janet didn't post her weekly Sunday inspiration of that. Well, child, maybe that the inspiration was her saying Kamala ain't black. That was the Sunday inspiration. It's the equivalent of Kanye doing his Sunday service. Just like how the rappers get called out, Janet can get called. Absolutely. And I don't know why people think like she's exempt. Why? Because she's an icon. Everybody slips up and everybody can get it. So I don't understand why people think rappers can be called out, men can be called out for stupidness whenever we talk about Bussy Mad Ass and some of these other rappers on here, that they're the ones that can get dragged. But Janet can? Who died and made her the queen of goddamn Sheba? Her shit stink like everybody else's. Trust and believe. When she get on that toilet, pops a squat and the deuces come out, tell me, trust and believe, she got to pull out that air freshener and spray that shit like the rest of us. So I don't know why people up in here thinking like she's exempt. She's not. Child, I'm going to have to read that. Because I'm like, what they said, that he's a Trump supporter? Also, it was, oh, you said, yeah, that's what I said. Oh, so it was Randy wife. So did I say it was Randy or did I say Tito? I don't remember. Same shit, different told. They all look alike to me, you know, minus the new noses. But yeah, so I'm like, they was out here sharing wives like they a damn harem, and she had kids with the both, so they got cousin siblings. Nasty. But you want to sit up here and talk about Kamala Harris when your whole family is all fucked up. It says Charlamagne gave Janet donkey the other day. He did, but not really. Because I watched the donkey of the day. It seemed like he was like, you giving her the donkey of the day, but you was trying to leave it up to the people, and then you was giving her grace. That's what I got to say about that. She's not. based on the conversations we be having, she's not cut out for fame. The Breakfast Club is falling. Who you telling? That's why I said the best thing Angela Yee did was create lip service and her other Wake Up with Angela Yee, what she does with the chick from the Jasmine brand. I think her name is, who is it? Is it Jasmine from the Jasmine brand? I don't know, because I don't be knowing them people over there. But I know she's a part of the Jasmine brand. So, Angela Yee went and created her own thing, and that was a smart thing to do because you don't need to go, she won't go down with this ship. No, she won't. Shout out to Dido. You know, I was over trying to find a song reference. Okay, so let's move on because we got 2 more topics with this show, and then we are out of here. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Now, without further ado, today's episode is brought to you by abuse, apparently, because now we got to talk about Shangela. And the fact that Miss Mama's out here still abusing people. Now, I did tell y'all the story about Dakota Payne. I remember I did hint at y'all that he did come out and alluded to some things. He had said little things here and there, but he didn't come out and fully say anything. So y'all already know I did a huge expose on Shangela, an abuse thing with Daniel McGarrigle. It has been dismissed with prejudice, which I think means, well, he can't speak about it anymore, but I do believe there was a settlement. And it's funny, just like that story, this story has not been covered by any of the blogs. I looked on Pink News, I looked on Out, I looked on Queerty, I looked on Pride. None of them have talked about it. Why? Because y'all all doing business with Miss LaQuifa Wadley. Y'all still out there doing business with DJ, and I believe every damn word because I'm gonna tell you, it ain't just this story that I've been going on. So Daniel McGarrigle, he actually hit me up the other day and thanked me for the thing. He sent me an email. We exchanged emails. We kept it moving. So As far as the details, I'm keeping that to myself, but just know that Daniel and I have talked not too long ago. Also, and I shared it with some very close people that are in the industry that knows. So if they try me at anything, not him, but Shangela, Miss Mama's, I'm ready to windmill that bitch. So we're gonna go and continue on this. This ain't got nothing to do with no damn bias, but I believe every word that's coming out. So let me get it together and just be neutral. Trying to be neutral Nancy here. So after that whole situation with Daniel McGarrigle, there's been others that have come out and said stuff. Dakota Payne has alluded to some situations going on. He has confided in a couple of people that I know that have, and in regarding this story, I'm not going to reveal who, but yeah, there's some people, and yes, they believe him. Even Bianca Del Rio was in the comments and was like, because they know each other, and even gave her sympathies in regards to this situation. So he finally went and spilled the full tea on his Instagram. This came out last week. I have not heard anybody talk about it, but we're going to talk about it here. And then when I did my Daniel McGarrigle story, he actually liked the video, and I commented to him, whenever he's ready to speak on this whole situation, let me know. He can come on here and do it. Even if he still doesn't want to do it, I'm glad that he came out and said his piece and came to peace and determines what he said. So without further ado, I do want to play y'all this clip, and I will say this. He is the sixth victim that has come out and said that this is something that has happened to him. So even though I think it's ridiculous that we got to do trigger warnings, whatever, but it's a trigger warning, so let me give it to y'all, because now we got to warn people about trauma. But I would think anything that has to do with something that's dark, y'all should know what's coming. So yeah, let's take a gander over to his Instagram. Let's play the clip, and then we'll come back and talk.
I wanted to do a little story time and get something off my chest. Last weekend, I was out in West Hollywood with some friends at a restaurant, and I saw the person who sexually assaulted me getting sat on the back patio. So I took a moment, took a beat, gathered myself, and went up to his table and let him know, hey, I know what you did, and you know what you did, and I believe all those boys' stories, referring to the Rolling Stone article about them. He looked me in the eye and he said, I'm sorry you feel that way. So a little backstory. In 2017, I was a PA on the set of Hurricane Bianca 2. I'd gone out with the cast and crew a handful of times, very excited to be around these popular drag queens and on set, in New York City. It wasn't until we had finished wrapping and I went out with this one queen one-on-one that I had this isolated experience where I came to in a hotel room with them and another person having sex with me. I don't remember getting there. I don't remember where it was. I don't remember if this person was an escort, hiring them. And that night I was made to feel like, oh, you wanted this, but you wanted this. I also remember that night telling them, well, that felt a lot like work. Basically, if you're going to treat me like a whore, pay me like a whore. This happened. I compartmentalized, swept it under the rug, And it wasn't until the Rolling Stone article came out and I saw that there's so many other instances of sexual assault from this person. And so many people's stories were so similar to mine. And then, I can't avoid them on social media. Even if I block this person, they're going to show up on a For You feed, or, they were just at a ceremony for a bar in West Hollywood being marked as a safe space, hugging up on the owner. And so, to the person who said, I'm sorry you feel that way. DJ, I'm sorry you feel the way that you do. I'm sorry that you were comfortable going into our crew spaces and that every place you go into, you kind of threaten the safety of the space. I'm sorry that your name is going to be synonymous for the deeds, and all the projects you've had the opportunity of being on are going to be tarnished. I'm sorry that you are not on a path of atonement and that whatever's happening with you is just festering. And I'm really sorry to all of the victims, to everyone whose body you violated. I'm sorry if they're not believed. I'm sorry if their trauma is being overshadowed by your popularity. So, I'm sorry. Hi there.
Okay. So, yeah, there you have it. Dakota told his side of the story. And also, I believe every word he says, because like I said, that he had liked one of the story that I did on Ding and McGarrigle, and then I had commented on, well, whenever you feel the need to want to speak out, whatever, let me know. And then he hearted it, that sort of thing. So we left it there. But I'm glad that he came out and said his piece. Now, I do believe this because I have another friend. I don't necessarily know Dakota personally, but I know people who know him. I also, he's good friends with Honey Davenport. Honey Davenport, I've known her for years, back when she was out in New York as a DJ and stuff. And so we have a mutual friend in her and other people. Now, with that being said, there is another friend of mine who also does adult cinematography similar to Dakota Payne. I'm not going to reveal his name because this is some anonymous stuff that he sent me as a message. He said that he saw my article, whatever. It was a trigger that ignited within him and said that a lot of the similarities of what other people saying has happened to him, that he was hanging out with some friends that were at a nightclub and, drinks were flowing, that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden he ended up in this place, didn't know how he got there, a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to reveal what he said. I mean, who it is, because they said that, they just are not ready to come forward. So it's always, whenever you're ready to come forward, you can come forward and spill your tea. I'm not out here to be trying to out any of my friends or any of those other people because it's not my place to do that. My place is I am a messenger. I don't make the news. I just report it. So whenever they're ready to come forward and say what they need to be said, then they'll say it. But they also feel that because they do sex work, that people go around not believing that, as workers can also be violated and assaulted. And yes, you can be, because as long as you say no, as long as it is not something that you agree to or co-sign on or want to do any kind of anything with a person, that is assault. That is violating someone's body. And I wish a motherfucker would come up and say, I'm sorry, you feel it. Oh, really, bitch? You get a bottle across your damn face. And then I'm going to end up in jail like the brat. So I guess that wouldn't be a good idea to do that. But now you want to gaslight me and play in my damn face? Oh, this is what we doing? Oh, you want to go that way? All right. Now, we'll see if, I take your ass to court or whatever the case is, and then we'll see what we take from there. So I don't know necessarily where Dakota plans on going with the rest of this. But like I said, I'm glad that he has found a way to speak out and tell his truth and feel comfortable enough to say what he says. Now, I'm sure there's probably people out there that don't believe him, and that's fine, because you know what? When I reported on Daniel McGarrigle and the stuff that was going on with that, people didn't believe him either. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine too. You can believe whatever the hell you want to believe, but it's not up for you to decide what is the truth and what isn't the truth. So I've seen some comments on social media where, shout out to Felix, because I see he wrote a comment. He said, I didn't know there was so many. Another person said, he looks really familiar. Is he a porn star? Yes, Dakota Payne does adult cinematography. And people go, OMG, and she seems so nice. Most serial predators are. One of the things you have to realize when it comes to serial killers, abusers, anybody who plays into that sociopathic type of situation, it's the charming part that gets people. That sense of charm, that plays a lot into how people get you to trust them before they pounce, before they sink their hooves and their vampire teeth into the person. This is what they do. And somebody put, not Shangela entering her Diddy era. Child, she been in there for a minute. But yeah, she about to have, hopefully, she'll get her just due. Somebody also said, this age of Aquarius has the industry in a chokehold. Another person said, opinions should be reserved. None of us were there and know the facts. Unfortunate situation. Absolutely. Another person said, Nasha Diddy. Oh no, bitch. Okay, I'm done. Nasha Diddy. Okay. Now we're going to end it on that, because I feel like that's all we need to get. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I have on this story right now. Like I told you, I know somebody personally who went and had a similar situation, and people they didn't know that there was that many. Yes, there's 6 that have come forward. They did a whole expose on it on Rolling Stone. I'm sure if y'all haven't read it, you could definitely dig up the story, and they did an expose on her like they did with Diddy and so many others. Rolling Stone good with, full-on exposés when they try to put people out in these streets. So we'll see what happens. But I will say, shame on our community for continuing to work with someone who has all these, you know, strikes against them in regards of abuse and things that's going on. I just don't understand how y'all out here supporting her. Still, the blogs ain't said a word. Trash. A lot of y'all white media blogs who continue to protect her and don't bring these stories into fruition when there's a full video out on it and y'all should be reporting on it. So what y'all waiting for, to get massive for People Magazine or Entertainment Tonight or Entertainment Weekly? You want one of them to get ahead of it for y'all to feel comfortable enough to speak out on this story? Is that what we need to do with this? Or is it that y'all trying to say, like, well, anybody could just come out and make accusations, so we're going to just take the diplomatic approach? Whatever. Well, that's what we're here for. I'm just going to report the news and leave it up to y'all to make up your decision. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all believe Dakota Fanning? Do y'all agree or believe Dakota Payne? I guess it's not really up to us whether or not if we believe her or not. It's just that, believe him. Is that, when he told his story, he has a right to tell his story, and it's up to y'all to just determine what it is. So let me know what your thoughts are in this story in the comments down below, because I'm sure that this is gonna be more coming out as things progress, because abusers don't just do it one time and stop. They keep doing it and doing it and doing it until eventually they get caught. And it's funny how you always be slipping the overall arc between so many people: Bill Cosby, the Diddler, and Shangela. The common denominator is drugs, slipping things in people's drinks and this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden you blank out, and then you find that's, I guess, the only way Mighty Mouse can top a bitch is by drugging them. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said, I didn't know there were so many people who have spoken out against her. I thought there were maybe 2, but I didn't know there were 6. When I saw that the other day, I was like, damn. Yeah, shout out to my friend Luna who sent me that. Forgive me because I remember I saw that video, and then all of a sudden, that's around the time when I was going to get to it, they just got rid of my all of a sudden my Instagram was gone. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but all her victims been white. No. The person that I know who was assaulted is Latino. So not all of them have been white. So yeah, while we've been hearing, and I'm not necessarily sure what Dakota Payne's ethnicity is. I don't know if he's Latino. I don't know if he's Italian, or whatever the case is. But yeah, I guess you would probably equate him with white. But yeah, the person I know, no, they're not. They're a person of color, but they ain't black. Because she ain't do that to her. She know better. She know not to do that to her brother. They probably fuck her up. Imagine thinking of workers don't deserve S workers don't deserve boundaries, human rights, bodily autonomy, and saying so. Exactly. And that's kind of like what the irritation has been with me. Could you read this part? You said Dakota Fanning. Yeah, I was like, shit, Dakota Fanning. Not Dakota Fanning, Dakota Payne. I think that Dakota Fanning, because I was watching this movie with her the other day where she did with M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. It wasn't a good movie, but was it where it was like they were stuck in this thing in the woods and it was these creatures that turned out to be fairies. I'm like, this shit is stupid. But I like the whole lore about what they were covering in that movie. I think it's called The Followers or something. I don't even remember the name of it. That's how bad it was. But yeah, I do find that irritating when we talk about S workers not deserving boundaries over their body. It's like, yeah, if I'm doing any kind of work, be it I'm stripping, go-go dancing, content for OnlyFans or just for fans, or even working in studio adult cinematography, I should still have boundary and wherewithal and autonomy is the word that we use and we should use. I should have autonomy over what can and cannot be done to my body. You don't just think, oh, well, they just do adult films. So who's going to believe you? I should be able to do whatever I want because you sell sex, but I don't want to have sex with you. And you shouldn't get mad that I don't. And it's sad and then people, well, he's so little. Like, how could he be able to do? I said, well, size don't mean nothing. I don't know why people sit out here and think that just because somebody's short and stout And because somebody's petite, or my friend used to say petite, just because somebody's petite don't necessarily mean that they're not capable of crazy stuff. What the size got to do is that you'd be surprised at how short some people are, tend to be extremely strong in situations. But anyway, let's move on to our final topic. We got to lighten the mood. And let's talk about Dragula season 6. The trailer dropped today. And child, I'm looking forward to this new season. So we're about basically a week away from the 6th season premiere of the Boulay Brothers Dragula, because the season premieres on October 1st. It is the 24th of September. And the official trailer, the monsters are definitely bringing the filth, the horror, and the drama. Now, for those of you who need a little bit of a refresher, among the cast of drag monsters competing for the $100,000 prize and a spot on the Boulay's tour are RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under alum Yuri, who plays 6 on the show's 2nd season in 2022, and James Majesty, who also enters the current competition under the mononym Majesty. After finishing Dragula Season 2 as a run-up alongside eventual Boulay Brothers Dragula Titans All-Star winner Victoria Elizabeth Black. Other Season 6 performers include Severity Stone, an entertainer who's 6'6", according to her IG bio, and Scylla, I think that's how you say her name, a self-described nautical monster with a penchant for oceanic terror. So according to the log, the statement from Dracmora Boulay, she said the following. She said, "This cast is incredible, and we can't wait for the world to get to know them and watch their stories unfold. They're a lot less safe and less worried about the fans' potential reactions to them than casts in recent seasons have been. So there is a definite return to the drama this season, and it will keep you on the edge of your seat." Add Swanthula. Everything is bigger, better, and more developed this year, from the challenges and themes to the locations and looks, but you see it especially in the exterminations. Every single episode pushes the envelope on terror and shows the cast facing their worst fears. It's very compelling, the absolutely best season yet. And I have to agree with that. Like, I love the fact that with this show, well, I don't know if it's the best season yet. I have to watch. But the part that I do agree with is, I love the fact that the queens are just like, fuck what these fans think. We are in this silo. We are going to give up. We're going to go in and we're just going to react based on what's happening in the show. And I don't care what the trolls on social media thinks. And I feel like we need more queens like that. Y'all can't be out here just worrying about what everybody thinks in regards of the show and what people's opinions and stuff are. So for those of you who have not seen the trailer, we're going to play it. Please hold. So for those of you wondering, the new season premieres on October 1st, 2024. So, yeah. So I'm excited for the new season, and you already saw who some of the judges were, including you saw Jennifer Tilly from Bride of Chucky, Mike Flanagan from Midnight Mass, Jamie Clayton, who played Pinhead in Hellraiser, Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black, Don Mancini, who created the Chucky franchise, and as well as Child's Play, and Justin Simeon, The Haunted Mansion, and Dear White People. Now, other judges include David Dastmalchian, who I absolutely love seeing him and stuff. He's family. He gives me, I like him in a lot of films, but, I love Late Night with the Devil. He's in Dune. He's in Suicide Squad. He was also in The Dark Knight. Akilah Cooper, who is a writer on the films Malignant, Megan, and The Nun 2. Now, I love me some Joe Bob Briggs. I don't know if y'all ever watched The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder, but that's like one of my favorites because it gives me kind of like the Elvira vibe. Like, it's very trailer trash, but he also gives you like a lot of insight into the history of certain horror films in general. So I just love him seeing him on it. And Darcy and them big old boobs of hers. And, we have Drag Race queens. This cold is killing me. Violet Chachki, Alaska Thunderfoot are on the show. Tananarive Due, author of Horror Historian, Darren Stein from Jawbreaker, Matthew Cote, creator of Dead by Daylight, Landon Sider, who is a drag king and winner of the Boulay Brothers Dragula Season 3, and Neil Huru X, who won last season's Dragula. So they're all going to be on there. And I like Landon Sider, but you want to know something? I really would like to see more drag kings, not just on Dragula, because they do bring a lot of drag kings on there. But why can't we get some on Drag Race? Or can we create a show where we get a mixture of, drag kings just competing alongside other drag queens? Like, we need other iterations of drag on TV besides Dragula and Drag Race. So I hope, fingers crossed that happens. I know other people have had their own iterations of drag on TV. They're not as big, but y'all know the tea. So I ask y'all this. What do y'all think of this upcoming season of Dragula? Are you excited to see the upcoming season when it premieres on October 1st on Shudder, if you have it? If you don't have it, you better get it, because Shudder got some real good stuff on there. I actually like what they have more so than Screambox. I'm not a Screambox fan. A lot of times I go over there and I look at stuff and I'm like, these movies are horrible. But not Screambox, they're trash. We already said that. And I like Bloody Disgusting, but yeah, y'all library is a mess. Shudder and Tubi, so far, the only two stations that, in my opinion, got real good collection of horror stuff. So whatever your thoughts are on Dragula, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we are, sorry to say, or maybe it's not sorry, because this is it's almost a 4-hour show. We had a lot of tea to spill today. We're at the end of the show. So it's pretty much done. If you have any more last minute questions, comments, and concerns, drop it in the box before I cut out of here. Otherwise, I want to thank you all for watching today's show. If you have not already, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm going to try to come on tomorrow and give you all another show. But other than that, like I said, I love you all for watching. And also, as you know, hit all them buttons and this, that, and the other. Thank you all who are tuning in and leaving your comments. And until next time,